the best part of the trip. This is the trip, the best part.
Welcome, everyone. I was fooling around with that Chrome tab just to make sure I had the. I want to say up front, thank you, Kathy Scott, and thank you, A. Smith, for your the proper use of magnanimous, Sarah. And you were asking me, what the true meaning of it was, because what were you telling me? Somebody butchered the definition and something.
Katie the bitch Maloney from Vanderpump Rules was describing. I'm watching season 5. And they're getting married. So she describes the wedding venue as magnanimous and beautiful. I was like, that's not right.
She must have meant like luxurious.
I think
or
she meant magnificent.
Yeah,
and beautiful.
yeah.
But it was just enjoyable because she's such a bitch.
Is that the wedding where like the wedding planner was a total fuck up? And
no, that was Sheena's wedding.
Sheena's wedding. That's right.
Katie's was in the woods with that god awful wedding dress.
Oh, that's right.
So sorry, everyone.
I still profess that there's something in there called Depp's rule, and his entire family have to work as waiters and bartenders at the restaurant for a full season. You have to, like Lily Rose and Jack have to, they get a taste of what real life is like, and they have to take regular jobs, and they have to work at the Lisa Vanderpump's restaurant. So yeah, Jack has to be a busboy, and she has to be a waitress or a hostess.
They have to resuscitate River Phoenix on the sidewalk. That's what that's like.
I shouldn't laugh at that.
Why
not? There's so much crossover you can do with that, and it's funny because they do on that show, Viper Room, interstitials, and Eastern Columbia Building. I mean that is your stomping ground.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, as I said to you before, the Viper Room and Sir are maybe 4 blocks away from each other in West Hollywood. So I should kind of do a walk and see how close they are. But yeah, they're in the same part of town.
I really feel like you're taking over West Hollywood. I really feel good about that. I really feel like we need a coming together of a Deppening Radio Gunk meetup with you and like Shaka Khan and Crazy Robin and everybody in that area.
Yeah, definitely. You know, who else is across the street from Sir was, because I think he's bankrupt now, is John Varvatos.
Oh.
His home base was, he tries to be this, like, he thinks he's punk rock leather, so his home base was originally the Lower East Side.
Yeah.
Yes, right. Exactly, Sarah. And so he's kind of like punk blackface in a way.
Right.
No pun intended.
Right. Punk for rich people.
Yes. And one of the most speaking of, like, I could tie anything into Depp's buddy Iggy Pop is also friends with Varvatos. They're from Detroit. So it's that sort of Detroit rock scene that comes out of there. The worst commercial to maybe physically punch my television. They're promoting, I think it's a car commercial. So Varvatos, I guess, designed the interior of this car. I forget what make of the car is. Yeah. But it's something we can't afford. It's like a $50,000 car or something.
Sure.
It's just completely out of range for any civilians. So the car pulls up with this melodramatic music, and Iggy Pop and Iggy Pop are waiting on the sidewalk for it. And the car pulls up in front of them, and the driver gets out. He stares at Iggy Pop, and Iggy Pop nods at him in approval, and they get in the car. Okay. and this is in front of CBGB's, in front of his store.
Iggy Pop should have pulled out a gun and shot him.
It's everything, and it's everything to desecrate punk music.
Right.
The commercial. It's everything to just destroy your legacy. I physically punched my television.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
thankfully, I didn't hurt my hand or the TV. TVs are made now almost where you can't break them that easily anymore.
Yeah, the syphilitic hands of capitalism got on punk music. Yeah.
Did you hear that? Syphilitic hands of
Ew.
capitalism.
I need penicillin for that word.
I almost forgot my Super Friends clip of how I learned the word monolith for you.
Oh.
I forgot. I knew I forgot something, and that was it. I want to say hi to Lauren Marie, who this is so perfect. She's driving, and she's very much a part of this because I'm going to flash back to the Radio Gunk Beautiful Day contest, which you are very much a part of, and just the Depp-centric entries of the people who are on here. And
I'm so sorry I missed the live show of that, but I watched it. I loved Shaka Khan's was my favorite, I think.
Okay, you got to tell everyone that. That's Lauren one. I think there was, I don't know, like 6.
Lauren's was great too. Yeah.
You did is like you put your top 3 in, and then the lowest number wins the. It was between mostly Shaka Khan and Lauren were 1 and 2 for the most part, but it was like it's hard to. They're so different. Each one of them. The death metal one by JJ Thrash, and we got a comeback from one of our old favorites, Sarah, during this. It was a really crazy. He just back from the dead, and someone who we were genuinely worried about, both of us.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you can make it. Hooper welcomes her.
Melvin. He's talking about.
Okay.
Yeah.
Melvin actually.
I know, leaves me hanging. It's like, oh yeah, some guy, he's doing fine. So Hooper, how you doing? Like, okay.
You're like a sitcom wise ass.
I thought about entering that for 2 seconds.
I know you would have been great in that.
No, but I was gonna do like the psychedelic B guitar riff underneath the metal version where I'm screaming, but I was gonna go with that for 5 minutes, and I said, I'm too lazy.
Why don't you enter it after the fact and just to go, hey, I forgot.
Nah, okay.
Oh, everybody wants to hear it.
No, they don't.
Do it on here. Yeah, do it on here.
No, they don't.
You're a very creative broad, very underrated filmmaking skills, and I would love to see you throw that together.
I have to tell you what I did today. This is so pretentious and annoying. I just finished painting.
Oh, God.
Are you going to be in Dan's papers talking about it?
Yes, my father taught me how to paint or whatever. No, I don't want to say I lost my father. I lost my father.
Did you do a rendering of Tim Burton and made him whiter than he already is, which is the topic we're going to get to?
I have a mountain scene with a waterfall and a forest. It's
okay.
Lovely.
Thanks again, A. Smith, and I got your message, and I'm completely up for it. Sarah's address. That is a great, generous offer. Yeah, Kathy Scott, speaking of generous. I know what you're going to do. Let me just finish with Kathy.
No, you don't.
Kathy, thank you so much. And I can't thank you enough for the Lori Depp hookup. Sarah, what was the Lori Depp question I had? Oh, I wanted to compare his accent.
But let's get to that later.
Cadence and accent today versus when they were married and how it's evolved into what it is now. As David masterfully called it, Hunter S. Walken cadence now. Go ahead, Sarah. You did.
I don't even remember.
We tag teamed on it. We tag teamed on it.
I don't remember what I was going to say. Go ahead.
I think you were going to make a proclamation of business or something or other.
Oh, well, I wasn't, but I will. We are $250 away from this month's Arm Fund goal. I had to raise it a little bit because we didn't make the goal last month. Rough month for everybody, but and we missed a show. But anyway, if you can, please donate via Super Chat, Super Sticker, Super Thanks, and join us over on patreon.com/Wino Forever. Also, we cover 90210 Golden Girls, and now a show I don't care about, Seinfeld, with Mr. Arm and David.
David, great job. I really was pleased with the first one, even though we don't have all the production done yet with the theme song, and I got some. Maybe I should show them to you now. Just some clips of what we're going to use in the opening. Yeah. Sarah's going to put the video together, and you'll do the music.
I'll do. Yeah, I'm going to do that this week.
I can't wait to see how this comes out. I really can't. This is just kind of some of them. This is what. This is one. It's like 5 seconds.
Hey, MSG's rerunning the Yankee game. You watching this?
They are.
George, you coming to bed? I text Matt about you.
That's just it's one of my favorite moments in the history of the show.
This is Jerry subliminally knocking one of his fellow comedians that he came up with too.
Or Larry is.
Or Larry, yeah, right.
Yeah, that's a knock on Paul Reiser. It gets even worse. Go, look at this. This is just a few seconds of this. So this is they end the episode like this.
Why? I love you like I do. Tell me who.
That theme song. I wonder if Paul Reiser is genuinely pissed at them for goofing on him like that. Because there's no good way to take that, no matter how good friends.
Right, and it's not like, you know, it can get under the wire. It's like the #1 show in America at the time, and
yes,
you know, of course,
yes, on the same network. On this, I think they might have even moved Mad About You to like Tuesday or Wednesday to get away from Seinfeld.
Yeah,
because they wanted, you know, it's too close to it.
Right.
Even their friends and the New York City, it's that not that different.
No,
just a cheesier, you know, cornier version of it.
I always considered Mad About You like part of the lowest era of NBC primetime. Like, oh my God, this is so atrocious.
Well, it was that whole, you know, interchangeable shows that were knockoffs of Seinfeld, where you're in New York, it's a group of friends hanging out, doing a lot of nothing.
Caroline in the City.
Caroline in the City. Just there was a show called Times Square or Union Square. It's just they're all the same show. Friends is a Seinfeld knockoff. It's not. It came on and it's really was not going to make it if Seinfeld did it. So this is all someone we all know. Rest in peace, Pat Cooper.
The gypsies took it. Of course, New York has a lot of gypsies.
He loves the hand motion with the theatrics with the. Yeah. That's just the couple. That's just a few. Yeah, that's just gonna be in. Oh, are you an entertainer? Are you in show business? That's at the Friars Clubs there.
I do have to say, with your Seinfeld, your first episode, just covering the pilot, a 22-minute episode, I noticed in the StreamYard archive, it was 3 hours long. And I think I even sent you a text about this. I said, one of you must have died. That's the only way you were able to stop at 3 hours.
And we didn't fool around. We were all business. We didn't do a monologue like we're doing now. We didn't riff and F off, you know, the banter in the beginning. We went right into it.
That was the most like down to business show I think I've ever done with
ever. 30 seconds in, we were right into it. It's endless. The crossover to 21 Jump Street is endless. The actors that are on that, it's crazy, Sarah. It's really.
You say that about every show.
Yeah, I do say that, but Seinfeld especially, like they run in the same, you know, a lot of people don't realize Seinfeld actually came out in '89. It's that old. Because it didn't hit its stride until the 90s, and you're going, oh wow, it's.
I mean, it got one episode in the 80s, and then that pilot is the only episode that aired in the 80s, and I think it was 90s for the rest of them. But yeah, no, it's weird that it touched, you know, that decade.
And the call goes out to everybody, and everybody knows the show. So anyone who wants to sit in with us as a third mic, you're more than welcome. I know most people know the show. So it's an easier. The other ones are a little more niche-y, I guess, or you know, 90210 you're gonna get some, and Jump Street you're gonna get some, and then Golden Girls you might get a different. But this one, Seinfeld probably hits more demographics. Everybody knows that show.
There's not billboards in Spanish in downtown areas for Golden Girls like there are for reruns of Seinfeld.
There should be.
There should be, yeah.
And Kathy Scott alerted me of, I've seen this myself, and I'm not sure I buy it yet. I'm going to have to delve into that maybe next time. Depp's agent, it's so weird thinking of him. I don't know how he and his agent have the time or the want or what they have to gain from this. There's like an interactive website where you can ask his agent questions, and his agent's name seems to be on it. It seems illegitimate. It seems kind of corny. It seems kind of like, my question is, what do they have to gain from this? Are they just trying to be overly appreciative of fan support after Fairfax? What are they doing with it's like a website where you're submitting questions and it's supposed to, I don't know if it's like where it's a message board community. I didn't really dig into it yet, but it's weird. It makes me suspicious that it's even legitimate.
Is it through the agency's website or like Infinitum Niles website or?
It seems to be through the agents.
Oh, okay.
Jack Wiggum is the agent who formerly was Tracey Jacobs.
Right.
The other agent is Christian Carino, who you'd seen. They both testified in the trial. They're both kind of, again, it's almost a good thing to go back over some of the testimonies and now knowing now what we know now. Because
You pick you pick a night out of the week, and we will redo the trial over on Patreon.
a lot of the
One of the 10 nights of the week that we need to do every show.
It's kidding. I don't even know how I'm going to fit in Golden Girls this week. So
the shiny new thing, unfortunately, seems to take precedent every time you add a new. I'm trying to hit all the demographics. The next one would have been Sex in the City, which I know very well. It's a Monique sit-in.
Oh, yeah, that'll be fun.
I do know that very well. Yeah, so let me see, because now Lauren's driving, listening to this, and Lauren, it's very fitting that we're going to do a story on Jennifer Grey and Matthew Broderick in Ireland and you driving. Do not imitate them. Do not. Judy Tanunu, welcome. Autobot, welcome. Hello, Wino and Winettes. I like that.
Tammy Winettes.
That's who did Stand By Your Man. That's the Hillary Clinton.
That's right.
When she goes, I'm not going to stand by your man.
Right. She got all the backlash.
like Tammy Wynette.
William Jefferson Clinton. I love saying his name. I love when he uses the full name because it's more like his middle name just happens to be. Oh, you say you're presidential. Jamie, hello, welcome. Glad you can make it. Judy Tanuna, Varvatos ruined CBGB's, made it close and put a store there. Yes. Judy, I'm interneting Vanderpump. A. Smith. Oh wow, he watches. I can't picture A. Smith watching.
No, that's not.
I think he's researching who it is.
Oh, okay.
What we're talking about.
Welcome, T. Busy. I haven't seen you in a while. Has anyone here heard of THC withdrawal? In other words, weed withdrawal? Yeah.
You're asking the wrong person. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know what to even buy marijuana, but I have heard of many people withdrawing from it. I mean, that's a thing. That's a major thing, right? Like any other drug.
We need G Canada to weigh in on that one.
Varvatos thinks Green Day is punk rock. I'm fucking dying over here.
I feel like there's a lot of inner monologues going on in the chat right now.
I don't know what the remedy for that is, T. Busy. I don't know. How about alcohol? Just drink. Just counteract it with booze. That's what I would do. Brian Johnson from ACDC did a series of talking to fellow singers. He did a Sting show from Varvatos' shop. Sting was fairly dismissive at the shop. Oh, so you went to this and Sting was like kind of non-interactive with fans. I don't think Sting is a lot of civilian interactions in a very long time. What'd you say about that? Right, this is a guy that's sequestered from human contact for years and years and years.
Are you saying a man who owns a castle in Scotland is out of touch with people? I don't know about
that. Sarah finished painting. I thought she meant the room.
No,
you do that too, right, Sarah?
I have an apartment. No, Jamie. I do not paint.
Cindy Lou Who, welcome. Always great to see you. There's Melvin. Hello. Long time. Speaking of Melvin, I'm going to get right into it with Melvin here. Not that I know that Michael. I hate him. He's just so. Oh, that's from Melrose Place. That's a Seinfeld quote. Thank you, Melvin. I completely forgot about the Melrose Place.
Because Jerry is the lie detector that he watches Melrose Place.
So Melvin, I take it you'll sit in with us. That's a yes. I'll take that as a yes. And you got that episode booked. Katie Aldana wants to sit in on the Marble Rye episode. For some reason, she likes that one the best. I didn't realize that was 7 seasons in.
Yeah.
So I want to, because we have everybody here, I want to reenact what we did on Radio. Not reenact, but the depth-centric version of it. The other night we did the Radio Gunk, the Beautiful Day contest. This corny Jack Johnson, John Mayer knockoff coffee house bathhouse singer named Ryan Houston did this song. And the origin of this is the video was mirrored from Beth Ostrowski's mom's, Judy's, Facebook page for her. It was an anniversary or birthday present. Her closeted homosexual, nearly 7-year-old godson, Howard, did a video with Beth and her brothers incestuously frolicking in the Hamptons together, which is creepy in itself. Like, what mom would? What does the mom say when she gets this? Like, what could you imagine presenting a video of you and you're fully grown in your 40s frolicking on the beach together, and you give it to your mom and say, "Happy birthday"? What does she do with it?
Well, and then she posts it, like,
and then post it.
Right.
Because it's supposed to, like, look how thought, but just like pretending to be proud of it, or just like not knowing what to do with it.
Not knowing that it comes off as, I mean, whatever. I don't care about the Howard angle, but the fact that, like, it's softcore porn of her children, she doesn't.
Yeah,
that doesn't faze her.
They're piggybacking each other and rolling around in the grass with each. There's no good way to take that. And like, what does a mom do with that? And she's in her. I think she turned 75 or something when she got that. What is that? And then she has to be going. He's got to be gay. Who would make that video?
I don't know how many synapses the entire Ostrowski family has between them for her to make that judgment call. But
Steve, I mean, the dad. I mean, Bob Ostrowski from the football family, and he's got to be homophobic on his face. I would think.
I'm sure.
Hope.
Yeah.
So this is the contest. Originally, this is because Lauren Marie did a very Depp, Burton, Elfman centric. So it kind of is all the people in here, and I want to show for those who might have missed it. So let's do the origin of it. So this is Ryan Houston and David's version, and then we'll go into the people that are here. I gotta get this thing on. I always leave the comment.
I'm going to give you a little of it right now, just so that everybody is aware of what we're talking about, and I'll play a little bit of it for you.
I want to feel the sun, have barbecue.
So this is the video. Howard chose this song as well, that he made for his mother-in-law in his 60s.
The opening photograph alone, that he opens with the shirtless, like, flexing with the football photo, and not the white polo shirt photo,
right,
is evidence enough. Yeah.
I want to see my friends, the old and new. We'll turn on the game and share some laughs, and we'll play this and that. Now say goodbye.
Look at this. Look at this. This is a heterosexual guy in his 60s taking these photos. Look at this.
With a sunken eye fetish.
Sarah, wasn't that your avatar for a while? This very thing.
Never mind the mother looking at this video and just being grateful her daughter waxed before the what do you call those? What's that move? I'm too, like, arthritic to do. Cartwheel. Thank you.
Okay, right. This is the only thing you're going to get about Castle Gay Skull too. Like, look at the wall. Like, you're not going to get anything higher than that. This is all he'll show you. He won't even show his mother-in-law the house.
Yeah.
Too rainy day.
Here you go, Sarah. Yes, you guessed it. She's 51.
Give us a Y.
You were a male cheerleader in Cleveland, Debbie?
Of course.
The golden nights and the empty trees, not full of life.
Okay, so this is a, yes, you guessed it. Their brother-in-law took these photos.
Okay, so like that. So it was a really crappy ass song. It just has like the silliest words. It just.
I'm gonna play this and that.
He's trying to capitalize on the coffee house Jack Johnson, John Mayer trend that was going around at that time in that style. It's a knockoff of all those things.
Oh, totally.
Yes,
Just wanted to get your comment.
Absolutely, but it wound up just being such a trite. The lyrics were just
Platitude
awful,
after
just
platitude.
right, just gross.
And here's
So
David.
then after that, and again, I'm apologizing well in advance here because for some bizarre reason, I thought I had it all pulled up. And okay, that beget David, the violinist, who I cannot believe is not here right now,
I'm
doing
sorry.
a instrumental version
You
of it with
apologize in a
strings
replay of it.
and doing just a really beautiful version of it. Here we go. It's still a horrible song, but him doing it is just brilliant.
A version the song doesn't deserve.
All right. Here we go.
I try to make it as sparkly as possible.
It comes off as melancholy, though, and I mean that in the best possible way. Like
I just tried to make it as ditzy and
it's
doofy as
it's
possible.
got like a gravitas to it. The song doesn't.
You think
deserve.
so?
Yeah, it feels like it goes off
I
the charts
failed.
and becomes no. I mean that in the best possible way.
No,
like
I know. I just.
I give you the ultimate compliment for the soundtrack it should be on.
I had to put some irony in it. Yeah.
Is this the first time you've ever commented on this, like in live, listening to your own?
Yes.
Yeah, we never. It's amazing how many times we've played that on Gunk, and you've never actually spoken to it.
Yeah.
It really is crazy.
Yeah, I've yet to. I don't know. I feel like I can handle being on with you guys. I feel like the Gunk panel. I have to up my game a little bit to join
What?
you
No,
guys.
can we handle being on with you with the monoliths of the world and the arpeggiate?
You should ask for residuals whenever Gunk uses it, or a portion, or a portion of super chats.
Right.
There are artists that are living very nicely from the 80s who live off residuals from like one dumb thing they did.
Right.
You
Yeah.
know, it's crazy. My
Just
favorite
beautiful.
part is David saying to himself, 1, 2, 3.
My count off.
You know, the thing is, that song is
That's for
so
the audience.
basic, bitch. That David looks like he probably was like half awake just doing that. I mean, that was
That's a good
just
thing.
No, he actually gave his all to it. I think
I don't know. I mean,
He certainly did.
It's a very simple piece. I mean,
Right,
he made
that's
it beautiful, but I
that's a
mean,
good
that's not a
point.
lot of effort.
That's like if you gave a guitarist, like if someone handed me a guitar and said, play Smells Like Teen Spirit, the chords, I'd just go down out. It's the thing you learn for David, who is can read music and could write an opera pretty much. He's so musically, that was like child's play.
It's
So,
pitch music.
still better than the original version. Anyway, you look at it.
it shows that a song can be ruined by its lyrics, because that's a nice melody.
Yes.
It's just a nice
yes.
little ditty, I guess you'd call it. But the lyrics make it so sickly.
That could be on like What's Eating Gilbert Grape soundtrack if you
Yes.
take lyrics out. That's
Yeah.
exactly right. So this begat. Well, let's say begat. The point of this was to redo that song, a la the Vinnie Favale Restless Contra. So these are some of the submissions we have from the people we have here for our Deppening purposes. This is a comeback from our Melvin, who's a master research and wit, and we're glad to have him back. We asked for you, Sarah, how many times you put the Melvin call at the bat signal out over time, the last, say, 6 months?
I can count them on 25 hands.
Can I say something before you start this?
Yeah.
I love how Monique tried to get she emailed Ryan Houston at his Yahoo email address to see if he would want to come on under the guise of, we're a big fan of the song.
Yeah.
And because he didn't come on, you're able to trash it and say what a horrible song it is. But I'm just imagining in another dimension where he did come on to the show and you'd have to pretend like you were actually big fans of the song.
I had to I plotted that by text with her. I said we should email him or whatever.
Yeah.
And she did that. I'm thinking maybe try him on like Facebook or something. But if we're
Right.
clearly goofing on him, I don't know how he could take that any other way.
Of course. I mean, yeah, me crashing and burning at the end of my rendition, like that's not very.
I
Much
don't know though.
attributed to him.
Your
I don't know.
version of it, he might take that as a it's impossible not to be complimented by that.
Maybe. I don't
So
know.
this is Melvin's comeback. He does kind of like somebody in the chat. I called it. It sounds like Eddie Grant's "E Gone to Rock Onto Electric Avenue," and somebody compared it to William Shatner's spoken word stuff that he did. Remember, he did a couple songs where he was kind of like doing like a
Oh
spoken
yeah,
word lyrics.
like sing talking or
Yeah,
talk
yeah.
singing. Yeah.
And God, there's so many comparisons you can make. This is really good. It's really underrated.
Melvin.
Melvin.
Have barbecues. I want to feel the sun. Have barbecues. I want to see my friends, the old and new. We'll turn on the game and share some laughs, Howard.
There's a bit of that Fred Schneider B-52s.
I was about to say
right?
B-52s. Yeah, totally.
If you see a painted sign at the side of the road.
We'll turn on the game and share some laughs, Howard. And we'll play this and that. Now let's say goodbye to rainy days. Goodbye. I wanna feel the sun. Have barbecues. I wanna feel the sun. Have barbecues.
Nice.
Nice.
Different.
Awesome, man. It's,
You know what that brings back? We're going to rock onto
Oh,
electric
electric.
Melvin, high praise. I was thinking the same thing about David. Well, it's Don Henley and Bruce Hornsby do "The End of the Innocence."
Oh
That you
yeah,
could
yeah.
kill it. That song is like my favorite. It's my favorite heavy pop song. It's my favorite with gravitas of all time in terms of sad pop song. It's my favorite sad pop song.
I really want to do. I really want to do a B-52s cover of Ryan Houston song now. That would be so fun.
Lauren Marie with high praise for Melvin. That's Melvin's version was her favorite, which I think a lot
That
of
is
people
great.
go with the Harp. I'm surprised Harpo Productions, the Hallmark channel, haven't snapped up this version. That's true.
Totally.
That's so perfect.
Yes.
David is an amazing dude, says Jones Rooney, and welcome.
Oh, that's
Agreed.
nice.
I think we all agree, right, Sarah? I think we all agree.
Mhm.
Sarah's an amazing broad as well. The brother-in-laws aren't. Look at this. Look at this. Okay.
Mutual admiration, Deppening episode.
Love Fest Baby.
Play this or that.
Okay. And now we are going to go show you JJ Thrash, who is sometimes in here, does kind of like what'd you call it? Death metal version of it.
Oh yeah.
They had some great what's the band they compared it to? I forget the name of it, but this is just as JJ Thrash's death metal, really brilliant in its own. It's very, very difficult to grade these versus each other.
I don't know how you can beat that, Coach, but we're gonna try. Let's see what else we got.
There's
See what
like
else
11
we
more.
got.
I'm gonna die.
All right, here we go.
Frolicking on the beach.
JJ, here we go.
Shirley. Says it Hooper.
That's his artwork for his album cover, as he said.
Oh, wow. Scorched earth.
Dang, that's some drumming.
Double pedal.
Wow. Wow.
A beautiful day. A beautiful day. A beautiful day.
Beat that, Sarah.
I love how doing a negative image of the Ostrowski siblings just highlights how sunken their eyes are.
Yeah.
It's just like,
That's really well done. I mean, it's a shame. I didn't even want to pick a winner at a certain point.
yeah.
Melvin writes, I don't think my joke registered. I made a very douchey beats to match the douchiness of the original song. Yes, you did. I knew what you were doing, along with the major vocal fry to annoy Arm. It was fun to participate. Lawrence was sick. Agreed.
Now,
with
then, if it
everybody.
were 1983, you would have a hit, a one-hit wonder.
I know that could easily be a hit. Like, why is that any worse than the stuff that came out there? Who was, the weird stuff that came?
It's on par with
Devo,
Our House in the Middle of the Street. It's
Devo, right? Lucy in the
I
Sky
don't
with
like
Diamonds,
Devo,
right?
so it's not a good comparison to me. But
You don't like Devo?
no, I hate Devo.
Come on.
Overrated.
That could have been Melvin's Betty Davis eyes into Kim Carnes' career.
Fittingly, Sarah, or ironically, you crack that whip. That's what Devo's talking about.
Mm-hmm.
You run a tight ship and crack that whip. You're who that song is about. You really are. Yes, good stuff. So this is who wins. We also had Chaka Khan, who was brilliant. It's a Ray Stern impression she does. I was just kind of doing it for the people here. I was trying to make it more centric. I could easily play hers. I think most people know Chaka Khan. She's not. I don't know if I've ever seen her in here. I don't think she's a huge Depp fan. She is a Dustin Gwen fan, though. She was in acting class with Dustin Gwen.
Oh,
so
I
I
didn't know
believe
that.
she sat next to him. I cannot stop thinking about that. I'm so jealous.
We got to get her on then.
Yeah,
my
I do.
gosh.
I do think. I think she's a bigger Depp fan than she might let on. Maybe I would like to hear her full opinion on him.
Yeah.
So this is Lauren Marie's version, and again, to bring it to Depp, I mean, it's almost like a Tim Burton short film he would have submitted, in his early days.
Right.
And with this ice hole she finds, made me just love ice, but it's like the entrance to the Fortress of Solitude in the Superman movie Tim Burton never actually made,
Right.
but was supposed to. So this is Lauren Marie's version, which ended up winning.
This is lovely. This is okay. Everybody with this one. Lauren, you rocked it.
Wanna feel some have barbecues. I wanna see my friends, the old and new. Turn on the game and share some laughs. And we'll play this and that. Now say goodbye to rainy days, to the golden nights and the empty trees. Now fall alive in colors new, and it's all here for you. To see how the sky summer days feels just like it's on the way. Can't do
Guess who?
Wow, good production value.
Good production.
reminds me of Typo Negative's Summer
Oh, it
Breeze.
does.
It reminds me of Summer
Oh,
Breeze.
it does. Yeah,
Summer
man.
Breeze. Which is my
Benjamin in the
ringtone.
chat's like, I'm genuinely scared right now. It's like Sleepy Hollow in the Hamptons. It's like a Tim Burton production, right?
Oh, wow.
Wow, that was
It was so good.
How good is that? I mean, it is genuinely scary.
Yeah.
You feel it's what Wes Craven's going for, and probably scarier than Sleepy Hollow in a lot of ways.
It's amazing when you digitally slow down an up-tempo, cozy song like that, and it just takes on a whole different demeanor.
It's Melvin goes about Ben 4810 about Melvin. Melvin sounds like Man Paris male stripper song. There's a compliment, Melvin, and that's exactly what he was going for. It seems like a way we gotta. Don't you feel like we should be submitting those to somewhere? I can't wait to play your Jump Street version for Patrick Hasbro.
Yeah, I gotta do that.
Oh,
Yeah,
that'll be.
I'll do them both
that.
this week. Have you ever seen the documentary Looking for Sugar Man? It came out a couple years ago. It's about
Killing Joke. That's good, Ben.
It's about a singer in Detroit who was kind of, he had kind of a burgeoning career in Los Angeles, but record producers screwed him over. And so he ended up kind of living in poverty in Detroit. But meanwhile, one of his albums got over to South Africa, and he was like the biggest deal in South Africa. And they went to find him and were shocked that he was impoverished. And so he came to South Africa and became a big star there. That we should do something like that with Ryan Houston, where it's he has no idea that his song is just the source.
I know.
Of all this.
I genuinely need to get his attention on this. I'm again, the risk you run is that he's you're just goofing on me. You just.
I know. I mean, it's probably not going to happen, but it's just. I think it's so funny.
But I think even if we can shield him from any satirical goofing we do, if we could just, we got to try, at least try. I don't care if he finds out. I would just say to him, and to explain to him the Howard part of it is so delicious in itself. Yeah. And then explain, and then show him the photo collage Howard chooses with it. I would love to just hear him go, what is this? They're brothers and sisters in their 40s, and it's for their mom. And what is the mom supposed to do with this video? And Lauren says, I originally emailed Monique to see if I could withdraw my entry. Thank God you didn't, because I didn't think the Gunk audience would relate. I'm into horror movies and artsy stuff. LOL. Yeah, I mean, that could go one of two ways, but I knew there's so many eclectic, artistic people in our midst that it had to work. But I could see how you'd be trepidatious about you're not going to get your intent. Sometimes you should. Is it wrong to write your intention? Like Melvin, this is what I'm going for, so I hope you get it. There's nothing wrong with that. In case you did think we're not going to grasp it entirely.
Right. I mean, you're stating your intention, not the way people should respond.
Right. This plays in the back of Melvin's eyelids as he falls asleep each night. Typo negative vibes. Yes, Autobot A1, and welcome, sir. Barry White. Lauren's awesome. Agreed. Great work. The fact
really,
people
really
are
good.
Calling me a serial liar in the comments is funny because I was the most mild-mannered. What? Why would she be called a serial liar?
No, serial killer.
Serial killer. Oh, I thought you meant what? See, I'm thinking of Howard, and I see serial liar in my head, and I
just fill in the word. Yeah.
Sternian slip. Sorry about that. And then Lauren, even worse is you could play that horrible ring, the doorbell thing you talk on a camera where that person was terrorizing your house in the depths of the darkness of upstate New York, where it's almost close to Sleepy Hollow. That song fits that whole entire scenario.
Yeah.
Little 9 Inch Nails is what, right, Sarah? Do you get Trent Reznor vibes off that too?
No, it's more typo negative.
Okay. Do you know typo negative?
I know very little, but it doesn't sound like. I mean, I can see why somebody would say that, but
I don't know
it
them
didn't
too
remind
well.
me of Trent Reznor.
I know of the thing, but I don't know their playlist or their entire library at all. If I ever need to slit a mailman's throat, Lauren's definitely going to be my hype song.
Why
Josh,
don't you need to do that?
classic Josh. I hope you don't mean Karl Malone, not that mailman. Sugar Man is a great documentary. John O'Reilly has seen it, David.
Yeah.
He has seen it.
It's fascinating. Yeah.
In addition to Lauren, John O'Reilly's a bit of a cinephile, right? Wouldn't you say? And glad to have his legalese back. I learned so much from that son of a bitch during the trial. I really feel like I have a kind of a community college. What is it, Shemetica, Sarah? Where Rick Adelman went to, the Blazers coach, where you are? Shemetica?
Shemekia, yes.
That's community college law degree. I'm starting a podcast with the deep rabbit hole journalism for Ryan Houston that the Deppening applies to. Okay, so speaking of Jennifer Grey. So I promised this. We never got to it on Gunk, and I'm going to kind of a progression into. As a lot of people know, in the late 80s, Matthew Broderick dated Jennifer Grey, who went on to date Depp right after this. And I kind of wanted to play the progression of what happens to them in Ireland and the Howard Stern prank call. And I found out today, as I thumbed through her book, and thank you, Johnny Bye Bye, for the link, because it's so easy to get at. Howard's prank call to her is mentioned in her book, which doesn't come up anywhere. It's small. It's like barely a paragraph, but it comes up in the book, and you're going to hate what she says about him at the end. First, I want to read the story. So this is kind of sort of modern day. This is Matthew Broderick and the people, his victims, from the car crash in Ireland when he killed 2 people. Vehicular double homicide. Tell me if you see this.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is the Globe. This is from just a few years ago. Producer star Matthew Broderick is so shamefully dodging a face-to-face meeting with the wheelchair-bound man whose mom and sister died in a car accident with the American actor 31 years ago. Now 35 years ago. The claim of crippled Martin Doherty, that's such an Ireland name, right? Whose mom, Margaret, 63, and sister Anna, 30, were killed in a head-on crash with Broderick on a remote road in Ireland. Broderick was fined only $175 for his role in the wreck, but Doherty insists in an exclusive interview he has never heard a word from Broderick, from the actor who is now married to Sex and the City actress Sarah Jessica Parker, and still visits his Irish homestead not far from the site of the fatal accident. Years ago, I tried to get in touch with Broderick, but I have no contact with him of any kind, says the heartbroken Martin. Ironically, in 2002, the 15th anniversary of the crash, a publicist for the dad of the 3 declared Matthew is willing to meet up with the family. There is no ill will, not of any sort of anger. The family is seeking some sort of closure, though. But Martin says, I have never, ever met him since. On August 5th, 1987, fresh from his triumphant hit teen flick Ferris Bueller's Day Off, Matthew, 25, was driving with Dirty Dancing gal pal Jennifer Grey, 27 at the time, in a rented BMW when he drifted into the wrong lane and smashed head-on into a Volvo driven by Anna, according to the reports. She and Mom Margaret were killed instantly. Jennifer received minor injuries, including whiplash. But Matthew was hospitalized for 4 weeks with a broken leg, shattered ribs, collapsed lung, and concussion. These days, the then 56-year-old Matthew, he's now 61, I believe, worth an estimated $45 million. And Sarah, 53 at the time, frequently visited. She's 58 right now. Frequently visit the home they own in Donegal. I never heard of Donegal. Yeah. They were there last summer when Sarah posted a gushing online message about the area's beauty. But her husband still did not ask to meet with Martin to discuss the incident in person, says Doherty, who wants a face-to-face apology now. Meanwhile, Matthew, who claims the crash erased his memory of that entire day, insists he's riddled with the guilt, saying, I feel horrible for what happened. Do you buy that?
Well, I mean, maybe maybe he elaborated on that, but that seems like a very
He's trying to distance
pithy
himself
thing
from
to
it because
say.
most people don't know this thing exists. This.
Right.
I mean, could you imagine, hot off the height of his star power, and Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Now, at the time, we're in like middle school and shit. I
Yeah.
mean, you don't follow, and gossip is not even close to what it is now. If you didn't read it in that stuff, or maybe some of the scant entertainment shows that were on, you're not going to really know about it. I had no idea that existed until years later.
Yeah. I feel like I don't know. I can't think of movie. I mean, I know he did movies after Ferris Bueller, whether it's like Glory or The Lion King or something, but I feel like his film career was kind of it didn't really continue in a big way.
No,
into
he
the
was
90s.
he was one step away from like Ralph Macchio-ness
Yeah.
syndrome, where you only know him as playing the teens. You can't see him playing an adult. And he kind of, he was in Cable Guy. He did have a
Right.
lot
Yeah.
of stuff. Nothing that you remember him in. He's just kind of playing like a meek, nebbish father or something, and it's just not a lot of range. He kind of does the same shit every time. He's not very rangy or
Yeah.
talented.
Well, I remember him in like what is that horrible movie, Project X or something? Do you remember that movie? It's like with
yeah.
chimpanzees or something. Yeah.
Sarah, you're a fan of his, right?
No.
You were.
No, I've never been a fan.
He's in War Games, and he was in.
I don't care.
With,
War Games is so boring, and Ferris Bueller is just a little prick. You just want him to get caught.
Family Business. Remember Marlon Brando?
Yeah.
And it was like 1990.
Is that the Freshman, right?
Yeah, The Freshman. I'm sorry, The Freshman.
Yeah.
Isn't it what's Family Business? Isn't I think of something else? He's in a ton of stuff, but again, he's so limited as an actor. He does. I mean, he's literally the opposite of Depp. He plays the same thing over and over again. As an adult, he's just playing Ferris Bueller as an adult. He doesn't do much nuance or act, and he's done very well doing that one thing, and he's lucky to do it. Cut to today. I mean, Sarah, remember we talked about Amy Locane?
Yes, ad nauseum.
I'd like people in the chat to explain to me, why is Matthew Broderick and what he did better than what Amy Locane was Depp's co-star in Crybaby, and she is in jail for what seems like you talk about. This is like a rare case of the celebrity not getting the book thrown at. I mean, getting the book thrown at.
Well, it's timing, and it's also he probably can afford a better set of lawyers and a better publicist.
You don't think her time on Crybaby and Melrose Place gives her unlimited funds for the John O'Reillys of the world? Tell me if you could see this.
Yes.
So this is Amy Locane of Melrose Place fame, and of course, Crybaby, the leading lady in John Waters' Crybaby, did something very similar to this in America, in New Jersey. Amy Locane, convicted of killing a woman while drunk driving. Locane served her time and spent the next 5 years as a model citizen. Now she's repenting for things far beyond anything Broderick's done. Facing up to her crime, trying to stop others from following in her footsteps. She then was locked up again for the same offense. Amy Locane is struggling to make sense of it all. The actress and mother of 2 children knows she committed a crime with devastating consequences. So she accepted it when she pretty much lost everything as a result, doing her time in jail uncomplainingly. The one thing she can't accept is that after being released and living in the community for 5 years as a model citizen, she is now back in prison for the same exact crime. It is a situation that one legal expert described as unheard of. In September of 2020, Locane was resentenced to 8 years in jail. I'm not really sure what's going on, she tells me, from Edna Mahan's correctional facility for women. I walk around in a daze. It's really messing with my mind. I never violated any rules. I never reoffended, and then got thrown back in here. It's cruel. I feel like I'm being made an example of. In the night of June 27, 2010 will be etched in her mind forever. Locane had just finished her run in a play at the local community theater in Hopewell, New Jersey. Afterwards, there was a wrap party for the cast and crew. Locane had a few drinks and then moved on to a barbecue at the home of friends, where she met up with her then husband and drank some more. She says she was expecting him to drive her home, but he left earlier, taking the children. She decided to drive home in her SUV. She knew she shouldn't, but she told herself, I'm a 15-minute drive. Who cares? At a red light, she crashed into the back of a Honda. The driver approached Locane for insurance details. She observed Locane's slurred speech and glassy eyes and tried to remove her car keys from the ignition, telling her that she was drunk and the police were on their way. Instead, Locane sped off, and the Honda driver then followed. Locane was driving at 53 miles an hour in a 35-mile-per-hour zone when she smashed into the car of Fred Seaman as he was turning left into his home. His 60-year-old wife, Helen, an art historian with 2 children, was killed instantly. Fred Seaman, a real estate lawyer who runs his that's not someone you don't want to crash into, who runs his own firm, was seriously injured. Locane ended up in a drainage ditch, but was not badly hurt. She was almost 3 times over the legal limit.
Just a few drinks at a barbecue.
This is the mom holding up a picture of her daughter in the court. Now, this wasn't televised, right, Sarah?
No, I don't remember this ever being on television.
It's really amazing. Only the Depp trial seems to be televised. Kevin Spacey's going through that shit right now. I want to see that damn trial.
Yeah.
He's got just a myriad of sexual misconduct, gay sexual misconduct. What was your take on that, David, when Kevin Spacey finally had to out himself because of all the sexual misconduct allegations? But he thought that he was going to hide behind that he's gay, and that was an excuse.
Well, right. I mean, it's the 80s thing. It's the 80s hacky comedian thing of if you're gay, it means you're a pedophile too.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just, it couldn't have done more, damage to what people think about gay people already.
It was kind of like saying, everybody gay is molest people. That's what we do, and we get a pass. That's exactly how he framed it. Because I'm gay, that's what we do. We molest people all the time. That's fine. Doesn't help me. He's Bryan Singer's right-hand man, right? I mean, does that even? I want to see that trial televised so effing bad. It's like the Depp trial is the only thing that got televised, which we prayed for, but I kind of wish. There's a part of me that wishes it wasn't, in a way, because we wouldn't have the grifters. And somebody had a great point. I don't know who it was. Might have been here. I want to take credit for it. Could you imagine the amount of people that flooded that trial if it wasn't televised? The Depp trial.
Oh yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, just to
because you couldn't see it, right? It would attract 5 times the people to Fairfax.
If anything, maybe that's why they. I mean, you guys know more than I do, but
that's why.
That's why they did it.
That's why As Karate said she was going to have it filmed.
That's right. That's what it. Right. She said it would keep people from. That's pretty bright. Locane was not a household name, really, but having worked as an actor, she was famous enough for her disgrace to become headline news. She had featured in the first series of Melrose Place and co-starred in the cult film Crybaby, a rock and roll rom-com directed by John Waters, which is unqualified success, and it was released in 1990. Locane, 18 at the time, was cast opposite Johnny Depp. He played the leader of rebellious Drapes. She played a member of the Prissy Squares, and their characters fell in love. For Depp, it was his first leading role in a movie. That's not true. He was leading role in what first, Sarah?
I don't know.
Everyone's favorite movie, Private Resort. Like it or not, that is a lead role, and that's his first.
Well, I have to apologize. You caught me eating a crouton, so I apologize.
You're eating crouton. I'll give you.
I know. I was so hungry.
Full meals on you. Didn't you say last time you had? What was the last thing you ate? Last time you had
I had 2 bowls of lasagna during the last
That's
show.
it. That's it.
That's amazing.
That's amazing. That's history. Has anyone ever eaten lasagna during a podcast before? I mean,
probably,
that's just...
but well, I had a crouton.
If I have
apologize.
a cough drop, I feel guilty, Sarah. If I'm
well, that's you. I don't. But,
my imposter complex.
Private Resort, naked, hairy ass crack. That's all I can remember from Private Resort.
So, isn't it amazing the injustice in this world? Amy Locane tried twice for the same crime. Half the people she killed to Matthew Broderick's 2, who got nothing but a fine that doubled. I got fined 3 years ago, for rolling through a stop sign. A California roll, a West Hollywood roll through a stop sign. $425 fine.
Well, don't do that.
Matthew Broderick, $175 for killing 2 people.
I got a $365 ticket for turning right on a red at 5:30 in the morning. It's still something I did wrong, so I paid the ticket.
I
You're
want
not a
justice
victim.
from me now, as I think about it. From the most selfish of reasons, forget Amy Locane. I want justice from me. I want Broderick to get. Can we retry him in some way? Here's
No.
John O'Reilly weighing in. In our Ireland, you drive on the left-hand side of the road. He knew that, John. I think he'd been there like 100 times. I've driven there many times, and several times you forget and drove on the wrong. Yeah, I get that, but Jesus, he had that covered. And how many times do you use that? Has it happened here where people kill people in the United States for driving on the right side of the road, for driving on the left side of the road?
Yes.
Well, that's your business, Sarah. Have
That's
you
my
ever
job.
seen it yet? Right. Where like, let me give you an example. I'm thinking of Enos Cantor drove on the wrong side of the road.
I don't know if Enos Cantor, that's a weird example, drove on the
Yusuf
wrong side of the
Nurkic.
road.
I'm trying to think of people who aren't from America that played for the Trailblazers.
I don't know, but I do get many Portland Trailblazers names coming across my desk.
Thank you, Autobot, and agreed. He ruined Inspector Gadget, the animated series from the 80s that they made adapted a movie.
Yeah,
for.
he's
He did 2 of them. Yeah.
He has the personality of a moldy brick.
He really does. He has no personality. That's really true. You know who did the voice of Inspector Gadget in the animated series? Does anybody know? Let's see if the chat can get it before. I don't want to. I'm sure someone will get it. It's not like
I watched that show, but I haven't seen.
It's really good. It's really cute, clever animated series.
Yeah.
Kind of superhero adjacent, wouldn't you say?
Yeah.
We'll give a couple minutes, give a couple seconds. Voice of Inspector Gadget in the animated series. It's
I have to
really
tell you,
easy.
what's the villain's name in that?
Yes.
Oh, Claw or something.
Autobot and Judy got it. Go ahead. Sorry.
Watching as a child, that was maybe the scariest villain ever because you couldn't see his face.
Yes. Yes. Who would win in a fight, or what cat? That cat or your crazy cartoon cat, Camilla?
Well, she is currently upset with a black cat that's roaming the neighborhood. That if she was a nicer girl, I would bring in and adopt myself. But yeah, she is very vicious when it comes to.
Do the cartoon adventures ever stop in that place, Sarah, with that cat? Do they ever stop?
I wish they would, so she could have a younger brother. I'm not going to talk anymore. You guys have a great show. I'll see you around.
And a charismatic cat, I might say, Sarah, too. Complicated cat. Right? All those things.
She's asleep in the closet right now.
Thank you. So Autobot and Judy Tenuta got it. Don Adams.
Don Adams.
Yeah, that's right.
You worked with him, David, right?
Yes, on the reboot of Get Smart with Andy Dick.
Isn't Don Adams your great grandson?
Exactly.
Autobot says driving on the wrong side of the road in 15 happens a lot here in Washington. Here's Kathy Scott, who probably saw a mountain range of this in the Tennessee prison system. Some are in prison for life for car accidents.
Mm-hmm.
And he got $175 fine.
You should. You know, it's the greatest thing in the world when you do something like this for a living, when you have to deal with, fatal accidents, as I do. A Friday, there's nothing beats a Friday night. The last thing you see are police photographs of somebody still dead in the backseat dead in the backseat of a car, still strapped in with their seatbelts, but missing their face. That sticks with you, and it's a color photo. That sticks with you for a bit. I have no sympathy for drunk drivers.
Here's Brendan, and yeah, I mean, you're a teetotaler, so you don't even know what it's like.
I don't care.
I think next time you do that Oregon video, how about I get a few in you before you do that?
I'm never going to drink ever, ever, ever.
I mean, you're doing it at 5 a.m. There's nobody on the road. You might as well, if you're gonna.
Okay, so great. I go off the side of the mountain and nobody finds me for 6 days because it's 5:30 in the morning because I'm drunk. Great.
I'm gonna brag right now. I can drive drunk better than Matthew Broderick can drive sober. I mean, it's not even close. It's not even a contest.
Right.
Not even. I want on my license to say heavyweight, that I have a higher tolerance than any other civilian. I don't want to be under the same rules of the road as the Sarahs of the world. I think I deserve. Sarah, you're in the business. Could I get like a heavyweight on my license that I'm not under the same percentages as regular civilians?
No, I would rather a police officer stop you. I know one. I can have him pull you over and literally burn your license in front of you. I would prefer that.
I'll just cry racism.
Yeah.
Ireland, Brendan writes, Ireland doesn't have the malignant tumor, MADD, vilifying even thinking about alcohol within a week of driving. Mothers Against Drunk Driving was a huge thing that started in the Jump Street reel. We did a whole drunk driving episode, right, guys?
Well, I saw
Jason Priestley.
well, and there was a commercial like in that Fox promo for all the new shows. They talk about how I think it might have been even Students Against Drunk Driving was kind of related to the Jump Street, talking points.
John O'Reilly says, there's nothing really to indicate Broderick had been drinking. Let's just assume he was. Americans driving on the wrong side of the road and getting into accidents happens a lot here in Ireland.
I would drive in Ireland just because I want to see Bono hitchhiking and drive by him and keep going. Honk as I drive by.
Not pick him up.
In Ireland, is a 0.08 blood alcohol level is the baseline. What's the American one? It's
0.08.
Oh, it's the same one?
Mm-hmm. Might be different from state to state, but I think most states are 0.08.
It used to be high. It used to be higher, right?
It's been a while.
I'm like, if you have like one Coors Light, is that kind of? I would say 2 beers would put you over the limit. Like, just say like 2 domestic beers probably put you over the limit. It's very easy to hit that. You basically just can't. Now today with Uber and everything else, you don't have a lot of excuses. But I blame our public transportation system, among others, where New York City's the only place where you can get around without. You just can't do anything without a car, and it's like we're now in 2023. We should have a full-blown like train and subway system that in every town that at least you can get within close to where you live, that you can depend on some kind of trolley. The conspiracy theorist in me thinks they want the society, they want you drunk driving. They want your fine money. They want you in the system. They want you paying out. They don't want a solution for it because there could be one and there's not. There should be a full-blown public transportation system so you don't have to drive in these situations. They like that you drive drunk. They want you. They want your money. They want you in the system paying fines.
You know how you don't get in the system? You don't do it.
Jamie asked me, if you had to guess, Arm, how many times have you drove drunk? Over the limit? In my 20s? It's got to be like Westbrook's triple doubles. It's probably well into 100, well over 100.
Wow.
Well over. But it doesn't take. I mean, you're 2 beers, you're over the limit.
It's the easiest thing in the world. Go to a party. Why do you have to drink?
You have to drink. Come on, Sarah.
No, you don't. You have a weird thing with that. I know most of it's a joke, but no, it's.
You're in the yummy phase. You like things that are yummy. You love sweets and ice cream and all things. And what's the latest thing you're talking about? The Chipwich sandwiches, and you love all things. That. You love sugar cereals. So typically when you love those things, you don't like the taste of alcohol. That typically happens.
No, I don't drink because I don't trust myself not to get in a car and drive. Therefore, I don't drink. I'm not missing out on anything.
Lauren says, my beautiful cousin was killed at a drunk driver, and she was out running early one morning, mid-90s. It's so awful. That is awful. I got hit by a car once, Lauren, when I was running. So this is on Broadway Avenue. I made a sharp right running. The person behind me, now when you go in Long Island, you go west, the sun is in your face at like 4 o'clock in the afternoon. The person didn't see me running, and it didn't hit me. It grazed my left shoulder as they were making a right turn in the car. It hurt. It wasn't. So it was more the shock of being hit by the car than anything else, than it actually hurt. The driver was more rattled than I was, just freaked out, stopped, came to her, went into this kind of like cul-de-sac area where there was no, and just panicking and crying and apologetic. And I guess I could have made a bigger deal out of it. And I was more worried about them because it just grazed my shoulder, but it hit me.
Right.
And it didn't do much. I was just kind of sore for a few days. That's about it. And I was and the cops got called, and I didn't press charges. I it was a new driver, so it was a young, I think it was a girl, of course, and the parents showed up, and I told the parents it wasn't a big deal, and I could have been a bigger asshole about it, but I don't know what she could have. You can't see when you're driving west.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, the sun is in your face when you're going west at that time.
LA is really bad at 5:30 in certain parts of the year, because you cannot see in front of you. I mean, sunglasses don't help. Putting the visor down doesn't help. And you have to, and I'm one of those people that I'm not afraid to drive under, I mean, not ridiculously under, but under the speed limit on the highway if I can't see in front of me, and just people go around me. I don't care. You're not going to intimidate me to go faster,
I've only been in LA once, and it was exactly what you're saying. 6 o'clock in the evening, I don't know what direction it was. I think it was west.
Yeah.
And I couldn't see my phone. I couldn't see my hands. I'm walking and I couldn't see anything on my phone.
Yeah.
It was crazy. I've never experienced the sun like that in my face. So I can't imagine driving that at that point, get west.
Yeah, it's pretty. You got to be really, really careful. And driving east in the morning, I have to sometimes go to my gym or something, and just it's almost impossible to see. So
Yep.
Yeah.
PCPPO23 writes, my friend got run over by a drunk stripper. Man, that's got to be 5:30 in the morning. She didn't notice until she stopped at a Waffle House and the leg was riding shotgun.
God.
Got to be Florida. Got to be. Is there any doubt that's Florida? Right? I mean,
The Waffle House gave it away.
No, just that. Just stripper 5. Yeah. The Waffle House is the biggest giveaway, but you combine those things, and is there any doubt it's Florida? Yeah, if you go to a party, you have to drink. 100%. Thank you, Josh. I don't know how you don't. Sarah's just not a partier. She just didn't. It's what Depp said about Whitney Hurd. You missed out, Sarah. You just missed out, and you don't seem to care. It's sad. It really is sad. Ironically, Florida, of all places, leading the way with new passenger rail track construction and train services. Oh, I didn't know that, Ben. Thank you. But I do firmly believe in that public transportation system should be far more ubiquitous, as the Jesus twins would tell you, than it is now. I can't believe we've always talked about the bullet train. Doesn't exist here. You should be able to get on a train and go from California to the East Coast, and we're just not far enough along in a lot of ways, and that's one of them. Please don't. I haven't. It's been a while, Babe Lewis. It's been a while. It's my wild 20s. I'm not the only one honest about that. I'm sure a lot of people have done that. And it's a different time. I mean, the 90s were a different time, where you're in the early 2000s and 90s. What is this podcast? Johnny Depp. So in this, I want to equate this to, so I pulled up Jennifer Gray's book, and she talks about this incident in her book, which came out last year, and it kind of dovetails. So Matthew Broderick is her boyfriend before Depp, and this is what she goes through, and I'm going to go right to where this is. Wait a minute. What are you guys looking at here? What is it showing?
It looks like a YouTube screen.
Never mind. That's the wrong screen. Let me get rid of that. Share screen. Okay, window. Where is my damn... How do we do this again, Sarah? When you want to...
Share screen.
The share screen...
And then it will pull up a little pop-up, and you choose the tab you want to share.
The tab from the PDF file does not come up when you're looking for it.
There's a slides option.
I got it. How about that?
Yep, I see it.
Okay, I'm off to the right. Here is where I'm going to choose to. In Ireland, Matthew Broderick was always the driver because he was very accustomed to drive. This is Jennifer Gray's book, Out of the Corner, which came out last year. Very accustomed to driving on the left side of the road, and I was not. He was a good driver, and I was happy to be the co-pilot in charge of the music and maps. Our bag of cassettes is on the floor by my feet. We'd listen to the whole tape, both sides, when it would pop out. We'd be listening to U2's Joshua Tree on a loop. And I thought it was synchronistic that Matthew and I were Americans having an Irish experience while listening to the Irish band's first album about their American. You love this album, right, Sarah?
What album is she saying?
With or Without You.
To? No, that's not their
Joshua
first album.
Tree.
Joshua Tree is like their 5th album.
Okay, right.
But she's very basic.
Right.
She thinks it's deep listening to you two when she's in Ireland. Honey, go.
I still haven't found what I'm looking for with or without you, etc. This country roads we were navigating were not well marked. So when where the streets have no name came up, it was like kind of singing to us. We got lost, and as it was raining really hard. We stopped for gas to get directions. We wait out the downpour. While Matthew was putting gas in the car, he asked an off-duty policeman for directions. I remember noticing the wide whale olive color corduroy pants Matthew was wearing and thinking those pants looked so good on him and he should get more like that. It was the afternoon and there were very few cars on the road. We had been listening to Joshua Tree and Hinge. I looked the sounds of Soweto cassette out and Hinge plastic case, and it was sliding into the tape deck when I heard Matthew scream. As I jerked my head up, I saw something completely filling the windshield, and there it was, like a sledgehammer, the sudden and stunning force of impact. Then an eerie silence. My forehead stung. My head must have been whipped into the dashboard. There was a searing sensation on my chest where I later learned the seatbelt had been burned off the top layers of flesh below my neck. Time was in slow motion and then compacted as time were in mushrooms. I spit out a mouthful of what I thought were my broken teeth, and glancing down was relieved to see my sweater, instead of spray translucent, perfectly formed cubes of safety glass the size of baby teeth. The windshield had exploded. I looked over at Matthew, unconscious. He had a bloodied face slumped forward onto the steering wheel, his chin split open like a Pez dispenser. South African music started to play, the sounds of Soweto. I struggled punching at the buttons to silence the bizarre sound. Imagine that the music. Have you ever been in an accident and music is playing? Or just in a tense situation behind the wheel and there's music
right. It's like
you can't handle it.
Yeah.
This is what your music's good for, David. This is what I would if your music was playing, none of this would happen.
Right.
Soundtrack of the nightmare, I was alive, but this was bad. The smell of acrid, acrid, acrid. Let's call it acid.
I was gonna say, is that a typo for
acid? I can't see her having a typo in the book. Acid burning metal like bumper cars, and the temperature's so hot, like we were in an incinerator. So much smoke, I thought we were about to burst into flames. I knew I had to get Matthew out. I opened my door, ran out to the side to pull him out of the wreck, but I couldn't open his door. There was no longer anything that resembled a door to be open at that point. What was once the door was blackened crush of metal wrapped around his frame. I looked up and down the deserted country road for any sign of a car, and then there was nobody, nothing, no people, only mist and a road in both directions, as far as the eye could see, green and peaceful and quiet, except for a faint keening of maybe an animal that was hit. I couldn't place what was the sound or what was coming from. Finally, I saw a car in the distance coming toward us, and waving my arms, screaming, flagged it down. The driver pulled over and up the road came running toward me, looking terrified, holding a plaid wool blanket. He handed me the blanket and ran back to get help. I get back to my car on my side. All I can think was I had to somehow pull Matthew's body out through the car. I lifted his head off the steering wheel, kissing and stroking the side of his forehead, talking to him, trying to get him to regain consciousness. His jawline hung, bleeding open wound, a surreal shock of color against a white skin. Hey, honey, can I help you? Please let me help you. Let's get you out of here. I'm going to undo your seatbelt now. As I started climbing over to unbuckle his seatbelt, I heard distant sirens and a blessed sound when you're waiting for help. 2 ambulances arrived. The medics descended, asking to step away. They moved in. They swarmed Matthew, taking his vitals and assessing the situation, his injuries. I noticed his legs are making I noticed one of his legs was making no sense. Instead of his thigh bone going directly from the hip, his pants, those corduroy pants I'd just been admiring, bent at the very sharp, confusing angle mid-thigh. Next thing I knew, the medics are putting away the equipment and heading back to the ambulance. I called out, "What is going on? Where are you going?" Let me move over to okay, once Matthew regained consciousness, whenever I was able to step aside, he would grow agitated until I was back in the field of his vision, and then flooded with relief. He'd say, "Oh God, I thought you were dead." Initially, it seemed like the most romantic thing in the world, but when it happened over and over again, I understood what it was really just a symptom of receiving a violent blow to the head. I'm gonna Let's skip ahead
Are
here.
you thrown off by? She remembers a lot of detail, like
Is that crazy?
second by second detail for something 40 years ago.
Yeah.
Well, you know, it might have been you were forced to go over that, you know, over and
I'm not
over again.
saying, you know, every brain is the same. Mine was 10 years after this. I have flashes of memories. It was less traumatic. I have flashes. I don't remember every single second.
Yeah, I mean, it is traumatic enough that I probably remember maybe somewhere in the middle of this amount of detail. But she also has to write a book, so I wonder if she elaborated in some respect.
On the nights when I stayed late with Matthew in the hospital, I was walking the eerily quiet, darkened halls to leave. There would be lines of soldiers in black full riot gear. They wore gas masks and helmets, their machine guns poised at the ready across their chests, legs marching in rhythm, syncopation of the guards outside the castle of the Wicked Witch, Wizard of Oz. We were in northern Ireland, thick of the troubles. There was a war going on at this time. One couldn't not be cognizant of the death grip the conflict had on Ireland, but I wasn't fully able to take in all of this. I don't remember exactly when or where I learned the truth about what had happened to the passengers in the other car, but the nurse in the Enniskillen had fled to me. Perhaps Matthew was not only seriously injured, but there was an investigation now underway about his possible culpability for this. And since the head-on collision had occurred on a deserted country road and Matthew had amnesia, of course he did, I was the sole surviving witness. On a bench outside the hospital, a pleasant man with a pocket-sized memo pad sat alongside me. I had been wanted to ask some questions. He wanted to ask me some questions of what had happened. He began to ask probing questions now, trying to extricate clues from the events leading up to the accident. He did a very good job behaving like someone who had just wanted to have a friendly conversation with me. I didn't have anything to hide, though. I was just trying to be as cooperative as possible. I could sense his growing frustration. By the way, how crazy do you think both their publicists are? You know who her agent is?
It's Tracey Jacobs,
Tracey
right?
Jacobs.
Yeah, right.
That's how Depp got into her life. And could you imagine like the team people have now as this is going down? He's just coming off Ferris Bueller.
Yeah.
It is crazy.
I think the publicists have to some extent, be total gossipy yentas where it's like they're not distraught by the fact that their client is in some sort of compromising situation, because they can always get new clients. But they also they're such vultures that they love being able to be involved in the drama of it all, you know?
Yep.
Like Andy Cohen types should be publicists, I think.
Let me just skip ahead here. It's just too much I was just going to try to truncate some of this. I'm speed reading this. Matthew's big-time entertainment lawyer had flown in from Los Angeles. He had quite plainly in agreement with Matthew. They explained it would not only be in bad taste for me to fly back to the U.S. at the time, but it would be ultimately better for my career, my dignity as an actress, from Matthew's very serious situation if I did not show up at my movie premiere. I know what some of you dear readers might be thinking right now. Why were you listening to him? He wanted you to break up with him now. You should have broken up with him. He was being a jerk, but it wasn't that simple. In the days leading up to the accident, there had been enough magical moments to justify putting off the inevitable, the breakup. And then after the accident, something else happened, something profound in the first days after. I had already described any time we were separated for even a few minutes, Matthew would forget that he'd just seen me alive. The terror caused by my absence and subsequent relief that washed over him when he saw we were was very startling. The way he looked at me in those moments of relief was like an x-ray of how he felt about me. He was so beautiful. All I saw was his face of love reduced to his essence, and there was no asshole left in him. There was just love. 10 days after the accident, 2 days before the premiere, I was flown to New York on the Concorde with my mom. The producers had sent us tickets to the supersonic aircraft where the tagline was "Arrive before you leave," for its ability to fly its passengers across the Atlantic Ocean in about 3 hours. I cried the whole way to the airport. I cried and smoked all the way to the Atlantic. An altitude right in the edge of space. I arrived at JFK in an effed up haze of nicotine, alcohol, and jet lag. Flying home for the premiere of my first big movie meant only one thing. I was not a good person, and you know what that movie was.
Ferris Bueller? Dirty Dancing. Okay.
Because it's kind of like it's a little bit And so for our purposes and the audio I'm going to play after this, cut to this, and I just found this an hour ago. Because I skimmed through this for the Depp parts, but I didn't realize this is also in here. Then, confused and scared, I got up and played back the recording. I couldn't believe anyone. Oh, wait, I'm sorry. Oh, no. Starts here. It says Act 3, no red lipstick. The premiere of Dirty Dancing was one of the most baffling occasions of my life. The first morning back in my apartment after flying home from Ireland from my bed in my half-asleep stupor, I could vaguely make out the sound of an outgoing message on the telephone answering machine in the other room. Hi, we're not home right now, but leave a message after the beep. Followed by a high-pitched screech of a car on my answer machine careening out of control and a loud bang and the sounds of women screaming. Confused and scared, I got up and played it back, the recording. I couldn't believe anyone would be this awful. Who would go to the trouble of finding our home number and leaving such a menacing message and terrorizing us? The next morning, I was awakened by another incoming message. Good morning. This is so-and-so from the blah, blah, blah driving school. We would like to offer you free of charge driving lessons from Matthew Broderick. I didn't know this at the time, but I later learned that these prank calls were made live on the Howard Stern show. The radio shock jock in his, it's a little more than second year on the air. This is like the K-Rock years,
right.
late 80s. Long before a dramatic evolution into the Howard now that I love now and revere. He called our home a few mornings in a row, hoping to get someone on the line. Matthew was right. We couldn't underestimate the human capacity to exploit tragedy for entertainment. I didn't have my own publicist, but I made it clear to Mark that I was game to do whatever press he set up, as long as he understood any questions regarding the accidents were off limits during my Dirty Dancing tour. So with that, and I'll get to the Depp part after this, I went, and this is supposed to be on Gunk, but it's probably better here. I went and I excavated the actual prank calls from the Stern show that day that Jennifer Grey is talking about verbatim, and she's absolutely right. So here's proof that she's right, and this is what happens when Howard Stern pranks Matthew Broderick. I'm going to play the whole thing. And I kind of put it together. So he reads a live commercial, and it spurns this on. And this is just. In
fact, you know who called car cash? I was reading the paper.
Who?
You know Matthew Broderick, the actor?
Oh, stop.
He called car cash. You see, he smashed up his BMW in Ireland, and now it's only worth $25. And the call from Ireland was $35.
Well, he's not doing well at all.
Not only is he physically not doing well, but he's an idiot. But he's going to have a lot of time to think about it anyway, so.
That's a shame that you make fun of this poor boy.
You think he'll be going to jail?
Well, his trial comes up February 15th, and the maximum penalty for the charges against him are 5 years in prison and fines.
I just wouldn't go back to Ireland.
Well, that would be my estimation of what the situation would be, but I probably think we have a pretty liberal extradition policy.
I see.
With Great Britain.
I see. Oh, so they can come into this country and yank you right out.
Right, yeah. We'll probably even throw you over.
And I'll tell you something, foreign jails and foreign legal systems are not like this one where everybody just gets off.
Oh,
they
no,
punish.
it might be better, though, in England.
My favorite thing about that commercial read was the song by Swing Out Sister playing to piano elevator music.
Soulful strut is what that's called. Yeah.
Am I the same girl? Right. Yes, I am. Yes, I am. You remember that song, right, Sarah? The Swing Out Sister?
Sadly, yes.
And I love that the Stern Show is playing it.
They love to punish Americans. You remember Stacy Keach?
Oh, yeah, but he was silly.
Yeah, he just hurt himself. He didn't kill anybody.
He was silly.
I think this Matthew Broderick thing has extenuating circumstances.
No, I mean, you know what? He won't, even when his leg heals, he's not taking that cast off.
No
he's
way.
Going in there, all strung up, get the sympathy of the jury.
Yep.
And he'll.
So if you were of age at that time and very news savvy and really like a news junkie, this was a really big story. I think we were just all too young to follow it or care or know about it or care, and we're just watching Matthew Broderick films, not knowing anything. I didn't know any of this back then. Did anybody follow this back then when it hit?
I mean, you make a good point where it's like the audience for Matthew Broderick was, well, I don't know. I mean, that is bizarre because
He's
I
a
feel like
massive star, David. Massive star. Yeah.
right. So I don't know. I feel like even people in their early 20s or even late teens now um, get the dirt on their idols, you know, their whoever they are, and why wouldn't you know about it? But I wonder if this was still in an era where they're trying to protect celebrities from this kind of drama, as opposed to try to get it out there because any publicity is good publicity.
I would think the publicist's job back then is easier because you're not deflecting it as much as you would today from 10,000 different media forms coming at you.
The only thing you had to worry about was the National Enquirer getting a hold of it, and they did. That's the only reason I knew about it. And People magazine had a little tiny paragraph.
Oh, you did read it?
I knew about it, yeah.
Huh. Yeah, you were obsessed with gossip as a little kid, right? With your grandparents?
We had every paper rag show up at the house. We had the Globe, we had the Sun, we had the Star, we had the National Enquirer. All came in the
That's
mail.
so cute. That's so cute.
How do you
Yeah,
think
Howard,
I could name all 8 of Elizabeth Taylor's husbands by 1991?
Melvin says Howard's, he was out of his mind back. That's his excuse.
Yeah. Right.
Judy Tanuna asks, is Matthew Broderick and Jennifer Grey ever been on the show? No, neither one of them ever been on the show. But he very much runs in the circles of Matthew Broderick in the Sarah Jessica Parker orbit. They go to the same parties. They go to all the same people. He has to have run into him.
Right.
I had a clip, I think I played on a Gunk a few weeks ago, where he went to the premiere of Sex and the City 2 with Ashley. And Matthew Broderick was there, and he had to avoid him. He had to get security to usher him out and leave early because Matthew Broderick was sitting adjacent to him, or he was obviously there. So how do you talk to Sarah Jessica Parker and not? He's obviously, that's going to be coursing in his brain when he runs into Howard. How would you ever forget that? Ever.
Or how is Beth going to go on Kathy Lee to promote the Dog Academy Awards or something and not feel? I mean, that's the problem with Howard, is that there's always, it's almost like they need one spouse to be the intermediary for the other one. Yeah, that's been his whole career post 1999.
He's been doing damage control in general, but in the Hamptons, that was especially the goal, where he was every single person he had eviscerated on the air, and now he's trying to do an about face. And this one is impossible to come back from. This is like, there's Sarah Jessica Parker is pretty bright broad. There's no way she's not aware of this. There's no way. She obviously knows this, Matthew. I think she also knows
about Howard taunting.
She was told over and over again when they first got together.
Yeah, and I'm sure that, I mean, it just shows you how gross show business is, where it's like, can you imagine a couple weeks ago when she went on Howard? I mean, I know she's been on before, so like her first time going on Howard, having to have that conversation with Matthew where it's like, he taunted me about that incident, and like, I know, but we got to make the donuts and sell Sex in the City or Hocus Pocus 2.
It's really a horrible industry in that way.
Yeah,
you're exactly right. There was a Hunter S. Thompson quote about Hollywood. If either of you can look it up, it's a very quick one. It's really prophetically something about, like, I'll tell you how it kind of goes. I can't remember it like verbatim, but it's something like, Hollywood is where good men go to hallowed halls to die, or something like that, where it twists you into you couldn't possibly be a pure as a driven snow individual and work in Hollywood. It's going to kill your soul.
I found it.
Okay.
And he's talking about the TV business. Same thing, whatever. The TV business is uglier than most things. It is normally perceived as some kind of cruel and shallow money trench through the heart of the journalism industry. A long plastic hallway where thieves and pimps run free, and good men die like dogs for no good reason.
Yeah, that's it. Thank you. That's exactly it. And I mean, it pretty well. I mean, that's pretty damn accurate. And I think what Thompson's experience was stemming from is, a lot of people don't know that he actually was a co-creator of Nash and Bridges.
Really?
That Don Johnson Cheech Marin show.
Yeah.
And the story goes, and this is how stupid Hollywood is. He just was hanging out with Don Johnson in Aspen. He was his next door neighbor. And Don Johnson got a holding deal of some kind to develop a show. And he just hung out with Thompson and threw that out there. And then Thompson got like on the deal, co-creator.
Right.
And Don Johnson was the creator of that show. Just a lazy buddy cop show.
Sure.
And Thompson is the guy, one of the co-creators of it. That's as simple as that.
Yeah.
And so that's where that quote kind of stems from.
Yeah, I mean, Hollywood is horrible for if you come wanting to pursue a career where it's more valued for popularity, a popularity contest, it's the worst. But if you're going for something where it's like, no, we actually need you to be a set designer where the sets are secure and they're not going to collapse on our actors.
Right.
That's not a popularity contest.
It's a merit-based, finally. And
That's
skill is actually,
right.
Sorry,
go ahead.
No. I was going to say cronyism and nepotism don't really work there.
Yeah, and what I want to do and what I do is kind of in between. They do need people who know how to deliver tangible recorded music that elapses a certain amount of time in a film, but even within that, there's approaches and styles and processes that seem more hip to producers or not hip, and so you get hired. There's a little popularity contest thing to what I do, but not as much as like acting or writing or something like that.
Nice use of processes.
Thank you.
Instead of saying process, you said processes, and I couldn't love you more for it. I'm never going to say process again without saying processes.
It will always be plural.
What was the pluralized word during the Fairfax trial that kept the lawyers would use? Oh God damn it! They all did it too. I forget. It bothered me. It was probably proper English, but it was so done to show off. Oh God,
It's on the tip of my tongue.
Yeah, I know. I can't get it either.
I'll think of it.
Yeah, Ida Greenbacks, welcome to. We love you, Ida. Howard was only syndicated in, I believe, Philadelphia at this time. So this is like before LA. I don't think he was in Chicago. I think it was just Philadelphia. Maybe Boston. I think it was just Philadelphia. Thank you, Josh Foster. Damn arm, this amazing hunting down this stuff. Yeah, it was. It's both skill and a happy accident. I kind of was thinking to myself when I was reading Jennifer Grey's book last time, like looking for Depp, purely her relationship with Depp, and that's great stuff too, because she reveals that I'd never known this, and it still doesn't come up. Tracey Jacobs is her agent first, and Tracey Jacobs was starting to sour on Jennifer Grey, and she was like, who's this? I want to represent Depp, and she basically pimped out Jennifer Grey to date Depp so she could represent him as a client.
Yeah,
that's crazy, right? That's a sleazy business to pull moves like that.
There's a one of the Richard Simmons appearances on Howard. Howard was talking about how the entire Stern Show crew got tickets to see an advanced screening of Dirty Dancing, and Howard says it's at one point when sort of reviewing the movie, he doesn't even call her Jennifer Grey, he calls her Joel Grey's daughter.
Yeah.
And he says Joel Grey's daughter is a little bit of a pig, but he was like fat shaming Jennifer Grey in Dirty Dancing, which I don't.
There's a scene where she dances across the bridge. I've seen this movie 45 times.
Yeah.
In 1987. So there is a scene where she's dancing across the bridge. You literally see the tendons moving because she is so rail thin.
Yes.
Her rib cage, you can count the bones in her rib cage.
Right. Oh,
but
God,
okay.
Yeah. Okay, Howard. Yeah, Ralph sitting there with his laser pointer. Yeah.
Jamie asked me, Arm, are you drinking and driving? Do you ever see a cop and get nervous? Yes, many times, Jamie. My move was in those days, and we all did it. I'm not going to, there's no way I'm an outlier here at all. I refuse to believe everybody at least do it a few times. I knew where they would hide. And if I saw them and they would get on the road, the move I would have is I would pull into a neighborhood and pull in a driveway and shut my lights off they couldn't. So like, where'd he go? Where'd he go? Where'd he go? The other moves, I would pull into a parking lot really quick before they could lock on my car, shut the lights off, lay down and let them pass, and then I would wait until I was not drunk anymore. Or I mean, you're always drunk. If you have 2 beers, you're always over the limit. So that was a move I would do. I often saw many cops. I knew their moves. I knew where they hung out. Joe Long, welcome, sir. So I'm not proud of it, but that's what we did back then because there's no public transportation and you just had the walks home. I've run home. I'll give me that much. I've run home from bars because I didn't like how I felt. I was in my marathoning stage and I would run home from a bar 3 miles or whatever it was, or 4 if I could do it. I've often done that. Like I said, welcome Joe Long. Go ahead, Debbie.
I was going to say, she when you were reading the excerpt from her book, she references that she was going to break up with Matthew Broderick and she no longer saw the asshole side of him. Does she detail how he was an asshole in the relationship?
Broderick?
No, Jennifer Grey. Does she? Yeah, and yes.
Or Broderick?
No, Broderick, I'm talking about.
Yeah, I mean, she kind of says that remember
he cheated.
He cheated on her, number one, and then he stalked her. Didn't he come back and like knock on her door on a brownstone? It's in the book.
Okay,
I don't want to.
I'm just curious.
It's a really good book. And she goes into this, and I had no idea it was this intricate.
Yeah.
Yeah, Judy's right. I mean, we loved when he would go after us. Believe me, I wouldn't have had much sympathy listening back then, and I don't now. And it was a good guy to go after actually at the time.
Yeah.
Speaking of Howard going after,
it's a shame
Broderick.
She had to deal with that. It's like it's for him.
You would think. So I'm going to play the answer machine messages coming up, which he just described. I have them here. She should not go on his show, Jamie. I agree. Shameless. Andy Cohen, you have to blame for that. He hooked that up. He brokered that friendship because Andy Cohen's friends with Sarah Jessica Parker for years and years and years, as you can imagine.
Oh yeah, he'll make Jerry's kids look happy when he walks into that courtroom. Compared, you got to get the sympathy of the court.
He's having one of those braces made right now.
Yeah. Hey man, my life's been ruined.
Yes, I haven't been able to work. I can't remember my scripts.
Yeah.
In fact, I don't even ask for scripts anymore.
Yeah, I think I've suffered enough.
I'm giving up my girlfriend. That's what he should do.
I'm working on a song here with the boys.
Yeah?
Actually, the boys are working on a song.
About?
Matthew Broderick.
Oh, now come on. Be nice.
I don't know if the song ever came to fruition. I have to search a little harder. I just had this segment, so I don't know. I'm assuming they made one and it aired a few days after that. I have to go find it, and that's going to be tough.
Sometimes that's 50-50 with Howard. I feel like, there's so many bits they talk about on the show that are better on paper than they are actually executed. So I wonder if they actually followed through with that.
Yeah, cops used to, they would sit outside. I mean, you could do this at any wedding hall, couldn't you? If you're going to a wedding and it's an all-you-can-drink bar, what percentage of drivers leaving that wedding are drunk or over the limit? 70%? You do weddings, David. They're all drinking the whole time.
Yeah. I think...
He'd be giving breathalyzers to everybody there that he's at a wedding with?
Yeah, I'm saying you could. I'm talking about how omnipresent and the past. Look at the Hells Angels stopping at bars, drinking 40 beers each, and then getting back on them. They're not all drunk when they're driving on. You go outside any wedding hall on any given Friday night or Saturday night and wait for people to leave. I'll guarantee you 70% of the people are drunk driving out of there. I guarantee it.
Yeah, and I think that's why most of them now have like a shuttle, because if they're doing the dinner and dancing portion at a resort and then they're staying at a hotel that's separate from a venue, that's why they have shuttles now.
That's a thing now, right? The shuttle is a big thing now.
Yeah.
Because they played over in Ireland. They played over Ireland. He should get lynched. Oh man, is that an annoying woman, that Katie Kelly? Hey, what is this? Matthew Broderick's answering machine number?
So what happens here is Gary has some mole that knows Broderick and Jennifer Grey, calls the show and gives them his home phone number, and then Gary slips it to him during a commercial break, and then he gets the idea.
Hey, what is this? Matthew Broderick's answering machine number?
I just called it.
And it's for real?
Yeah, it's his and Jennifer's where they live together.
Oh.
Yeah? Oh, we got it. You got a car crash sound effect?
Oh no!
Hey, come on, we gotta do it. We gotta do it.
It's only on one ring too.
One ring?
Yeah.
All right, get ready, Fred.
Boy.
Car crash.
Let's leave it from
Got the sounds of bones breaking too.
Oh, good idea.
No.
Let's see. What made you think of that?
Jamie, they were in Ireland just vacationing. Just what celebratory. Ferris Bueller's Day Off is a hit. They're this hot celebrity young couple, and Matthew Broderick apparently was a regular thing. He would go to. I think he has relatives there or something. Would go to Ireland just vacationing, which was a regular thing for them.
Brilliant move.
You're terrible. Female screams.
Hold on.
Okay. You got male screams?
Male scream, yeah, but it was two women. Oh, no, it doesn't matter.
You might have screamed, Fred.
That's true.
Boy, Freddie's coming to life. He loves sound effects. This is his forte.
He loves yanking the crank of rich young men is what he loves.
I like that.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Nice guy.
All right, you ready? Are you ready with the sound effect?
I'd like to know those two Horatius 763. You'd have to be honest though. The people that they poll that they actually do drive after drinking. I mean, it's far more omnipresent than people will ever admit to. Trust me.
And Fred, don't rush. Not yet.
Oh,
What's wrong with you?
When you hear Jennifer Grey on the answer machine, it's kind of eerie knowing what you know now because it's clearly her voice.
premature again.
Yeah. No wonder your girlfriend can't stand you. And just keep it clear. You know, Fred has this fantasy that Jennifer Grey was giving sex to Matthew Broderick while he was driving.
Yes, I know.
So he's putting spittoon sound effect in. You can't.
No. That had nothing.
Just keep the sound effect.
That's not a bad theory.
I love the terrestrial radio way they have to say giving a blowjob, like giving sex to
Giving right. That's exactly right. They had to like euphemize what that was.
Right. Sex clean.
Okay. I'll do my best.
I think it's obnoxious enough what we're doing.
Yeah.
There's a line here.
There's a line to be drawn. You know, there's common decency. What the hell is that?
What in the world is that?
Fred,
well, he got you first. No. You know he's back in town.
Yeah.
Town.
Broderick and Jennifer Grey.
You know he's back in town.
Yeah. That's what we did on last night.
Here we go.
Ready, Fred.
Hi, leave a message for Matthew or Jennifer, and we'll call you back when we can. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Get ready. Where's the beep?
I suppose he's got a long... This is not my idea. I have nothing to do with it. The Matthew Broderick phone. Oh, boy. You're gonna burn.
Hey, that was their answering machine.
Yes, for sure. That was Jennifer's voice.
Hey, cool. Well, the audience is great. As soon as we have a topic, they got a phone number.
Hey, you know, like, they're really pitching in and helping in a big way these days. Thank you.
Hey, if anybody's got any celebrity phone numbers in the hotel rooms, call us with that for sure.
That's exactly as Jennifer describes it in the book. It's not an embellishment. It's exactly what happened. So he calls back again and leaves his name, but it's kind of like a mistake. So it's so weird.
My friends.
Go ahead, Debbie. What?
Yeah, I just wanted to say, I love the battle in Howard's mind of like, I want to taunt these fake ass celebrities, but then it's like, oh, that was Jennifer Grey's voice. That's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Like the starfucker in him
Star
is
effort in him
battling.
comes out.
Right.
Yes.
Exactly.
And it's also this fake, sticking it to the man, or like
Right.
for the commoner. I'm here for no, you just want their attention.
Right. Yeah.
You're not doing anything noble.
All right, let's take a break.
Gary Hart is in town. Give us his number.
Hey, yeah, if you got his hotel room, give us a call.
Yeah. Robin,
Yes.
let's leave our daily message for Matthew
Are we
Broderick.
ready to leave that message?
So this is the next day. So this is a progression. They're doing it over and over again. This is the next day, and they do it.
I want to thank whoever in our audience sent us Matthew Broderick and
Jennifer
Gray's answering machine. You think it's kind of? I guess they live together.
Well, I guess you're right.
Shocking. Joel Gray seems like one of those liberal Jewish parents, you know, that doesn't mind his daughter sleeping with Matthew Broderick.
Oh, yeah, he seems about as liberal enough to let her move away at 12. It's about
Yeah.
You know, like as soon as she hit puberty, she was out on her own.
Puberty?
Guys, what's the story with Joel Gray and his sexuality?
He's gay. He
He's
came out
gay.
later in life.
Yeah.
What age did he come out of the closet?
I'm looking that up right now.
I don't expect you to know it off the top, but it's a weird thing. Like he has does she have any siblings?
Does she have? He has 2 children, including
Okay.
Jennifer. Married to a woman named Joe J-O Wilder. And personal life. He did. I mean, he did kind of like in January 2015, Gray discussed his sexuality in an interview with People, stating, "I don't like labels, but if you have to put a label on it, I'm a gay man." So, you know, I think who knows what happened behind the scenes for that process to happen, but it seems like he's kept it very private.
Lauren Marie writes, "Oh, how did I used to listen to this guy for 25 years? It's so obnoxious he really is. He sounds like a wicked witch too. I remember when I first heard him, and I wasn't a regular. I was like, you know, in my mid-teens or something. I might have been in middle school, and WNBC, and or elementary, middle school, and I would just hear, and he just sounded like a courageous cat, frog meets the wicked witch. It just had this." You know, and that's what it right. It was completely repugnant to a kid.
Somewhere in 1987 is when he discovered the compression too, because you listen to like the Robin Williams interview where he sounds like that Wicked Witch voice, and then this, which and Robin's voice too. Robin's voice sounds very kind of deep. I mean, maybe it's the playback of the cassette tape. I don't know, but
Joe Long. I did too, Lauren. I just hated him back then. So effed up, says Jamie. Melvin goes, "Hey, cool. God, I dislike this douche." Broderick's outstanding career in Broadway. Right now, he had the
producers.
Was he in the Larry David
no
Herb version of it?
No, he because Larry was playing the Nathan Lane role and David Schwimmer played the Matthew Broderick
That's right.
role.
Thank you. Yes. God, I gotta watch that show again. I gotta binge Curb in a big way. I really am behind. I just need to reinvigorate myself with. I wonder if people send celebrities Howard clips of him bashing them on Twitter. I do it all the time, Horatius. I try to. Our new thing now is if I know a guest in advance, we send them clips of Howard bashing them through the years. We did it with Sarah Jessica Parker and what's the chick from American Idol?
Oh, Kelly
Clarkson. Yeah. Just like that series of those. There's almost no one you can't do that with.
Yeah.
Puberty.
I'm doing the Johnny Carson thing.
I know. You knucklehead. You know you'll never be Johnny Carson. Cut it out.
I'm hoping.
Yeah.
He's 90. Joel Gray's 92 now.
Yeah, he's still alive.
Jesus.
All right. Hey, you know what we got to do? We got to call Matthew Broderick and leave him driving school phone numbers on his answering machine.
Oh, get the yellow pages.
Yeah. Gary, bring me the yellow pages. Let's take a commercial break. When we come back, I'll put together the whole message for his answering machine.
All right.
Right after these words.
So he's got some. It's kind of hacky when you hear this. He leaves like driving school and he does the stupid hack Kennedy voice while he's doing it.
Yeah.
God, I hate that voice. I mean, it was old. It stinks here. He still does it to this day.
Right.
Joel came out as gay to People magazine in 2015 at the age of 82. Thank you, Melvin.
Got it.
So he is 90. If I do the math, he add 8 years to 2015.
All right, calling Matthew Broderick. Here's the agenda. We get Matthew Broderick, get his answering machine.
Mm-hmm.
I guess Jennifer Gray gives the answering machine message.
Yeah, she says, this is Jennifer and Matthew's answering machine. Leave us a message or something like that.
All right, first I'm going to... Now, Freddie, let's get this straight. I don't want to screw up this message.
Straight.
Matthew Broderick's a professional and won't tolerate sloppy production work.
That's why I didn't call that.
All right. But first, driving school numbers, which I have right here. Then, South Shore Honda number.
All right.
Which I just threw at Jackie.
Jackie, could
Give
you
that
get
back,
that?
will you? Then, tell Jennifer we like Dirty Dancing.
Definitely.
Okay? Which is a good movie. And then 4, the sound effects.
Yeah.
Okay? All right. See how he's doing it perfectly now? Wait till we get to the message.
This came out, Joe Long. He'd come back from the accident. You know, he's in the States, and it's a little bit after that. It's like it's on the date on the things is 89, but I think it's earlier than that because the accident happened in 87. When does Dirty Dancing come out officially?
87.
87. I think this is 87 more so than it's. The date on my audio is wrong, I think.
Wait till we get there and he's on here.
After I say Jennifer, I like Dirty Dancing, I'm going to say, okay, and here's something for you, Matthew. All right, here we go. Everyone ready? Okay. Here we go. Here we go. Who's ready? Raise your hand. Here we go.
All the hands are up now.
I really like annoying people. That's what I do for a living. I like to yank the crank of many celebrities. Multiple yank cranking. Should I mention Joel Gray as a load?
Oh, no, he's all right.
Think so?
Yeah.
I hated him in that. What is that show?
Cabaret?
I hated that.
Oh, he's not good.
Hi, leave a message for Matthew or Jennifer, and we'll call you back when we can. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Hi, Matthew, Howard Stern.
You're going to use your name?
Hang on. What's the matter with you? Oh, man. What the hell is wrong with me? What the hell? I'm losing it. I'll call back with a different voice. You won't know it's me.
Oh, yeah, right. This guy's just... Oh, yes,
Yeah,
Ted
okay.
Kennedy would be better, wouldn't he?
Go back and say it wasn't you.
Get back
No, this is really Howard Stern. Somebody call him. Yeah, all right. Let me just clear my name first, and then I'll call him the Ted Kennedy.
Hi, leave a message for Matthew or Jennifer, and we'll call you back when we can. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Hello, Matthew. My name is Howard Stern, and people have been calling around town saying it's me. Was there someone who just did that? Because that was not me. And I loved Cabaret. Okay? That wasn't me on your answering machine. And thanks.
You should have told him you love war games.
Yeah. It was all right. Say that.
He calls back again.
All right. Here's the real message now. I can't believe I can't believe you let me do that.
I couldn't believe you were doing it.
I'm temporarily insane.
Hi, leave a message for Matthew or Jennifer, and we'll call you back when we can. Thank
Okay.
you. Bye-bye.
Hello. Hello. I'm calling to leave Matthew a message about driving school and taggarts. Let me give you the phone number. 962-0202.
I should call them.
Also, oh yeah, here's the number for South Shore Honda. I figured Matthew might need a new car. The hell is it? Well, they're in Valley Stream. And by the way, that movie Dirty Dancing was marvelous. Oh, listen to this. Uh-oh, uh-oh, oh, oh. Oh, oh my. Oh, my leg is shattered. My leg is shattered. Any casualties?
You're terrible.
In today's day and age, can you get harassment for that? Could they use that against him, save the message? It's very strange they couldn't take it to that.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I assume they'd have to go to the extent of like they'd have to like prove damages, or if they wanted to get like a restraining order or something like that.
I would think he just doesn't want to bring attention to it.
That
So he
too.
just, you know,
You're right.
Melvin
You know
says
what
it's
else
not
is
illegal to
funny?
be an asshole.
He didn't do the thing he usually did in the early 90s where he sings over the phone when he's dialing the phone. He doesn't want the audience to pick up on the beeps.
Yes,
So he'd go
yes.
like la da dee da
Yes.
da. He'd always do that. Yeah, he didn't do that.
It's
this
the
time.
worst. That Ted Kennedy is the worst impression. It gets worse over time, and it's the only voice the guy who makes $4,000 a minute can seemingly do, and he can't
Right.
do the only voice he can seemingly do. This so. Where's Billy West when you need him? Exactly, Joe.
Oh, God.
Exactly. So with that, let's cut to Depp. So this is going down, and here she is. You see some shots. This is her in a limo, I think, going to the LA premiere of Dirty Dancing. Good go redo. Okay, the title of the chapter is Mrs. Broderick Depp. As Matthew and I had met on a film set, there was a built-in understanding from the start that going forward, our relationship was not going to follow or resemble any kind of typical courtship trajectory. Matthew already had a full slate of work ahead of him now. This is after the accident.
Right.
Film scheduled well into the future, and it was given that our time together would also be regularly interrupted by one or both of us going away for months at a time. I knew from my childhood periods of separation from loved ones were the price of doing business. From a working actor, the rules of engagement and lifestyle were different from those of civilians, but well worth it. My father was often away from work for months at a time. Matthew and I would find windows for vacation between gigs. One time, we stole away to the British Virgin Islands. We can all relate to this, right?
Yeah.
Romantic holiday. Let me just skip to. I'm just trying to find where she cheats on him. Our relationship went like this for a few years until we returned from Ireland. Bonded in a new way by the trauma. Once we got home from the accident, my resolve to break it off had vanished. We were living together in my apartment along with my roommate, Meg. Matthew was gaunt, still on crutches, and at the start of months, physical therapy to rehabilitate his legs. I couldn't help but fall deeply ingrained of a mindset. I loved him. Whatever Matthew's needs were, especially when they were posed with serious threats to his health or work, they would have to take precedence. His grave injuries, the sudden question mark that loomed over his career, the public flaying that ensued, and the fallout that continued to swirl around him. All of this rendered my needs in my life, my injuries, my career inconsequential to me. I was jealous. Let me find this. Jump ahead here. Okay. I finally decided to leave my agent, Susan Smith. This is when she finds Tracey. That was Matthew's agent, Todd Smith. No relation. It's CAA. Wanted to sign me. But Matthew did not like the idea of us having the same agent. My dad's longtime and recently former agent, Sam Cohn of ICM, also trying to sign me. I went on to sign with Sam. My dad was extremely hurt and upset at my decision. He couldn't understand how in good conscience I could sign with someone who'd stop answering his calls. Sam, the celebrated Uber agent to the biggies, Meryl Streep, Bob Fosse. I guess that's Mike Nichols, Vanessa Redgrave, everyone.
Director.
The legendary for failing to return his clients' calls. Yet somehow, my dad thought he should have been the exception. After love bombing me until I signed with him, Sam swiftly passed me on to the day-to-day care of an up-and-coming agent at ICM named Tracey Jacobs, who began sending me stacks and stacks of scripts. I'd tear through my Bethune Street apartment looking for just the right follow-up role, the perfect vehicle, relieved to finally have the support of someone so smart and passionate, fired up by, where am I? Lost my place here. God, my eyes are failing me.
Come on, Grandpa.
It is. It's an eyesight thing.
Wipe off your spectacles.
Get your readers.
My readers on. I teed up, or so I thought, to finally make some serious coin, and more important, to have the opportunity to be able to work with the directors who made the kind of first-rate films I had fantasized about doing my whole life. I began taking meetings with directors, screen testing for parts. I tested for Cocktail with Tom Cruise, but I got a bad case of the giggles during the love scene. What's Sarah?
I love that movie.
Okay, a lot of people do. Way down in Kokomo.
Not that part.
I tested for Cocktail. I was super excited when my dream director, Mike Nichols, wanted me to come over to his place and informally read for the lead in Working Girl.
Ah.
But that night, before his place, Matthew and I got into a fight. He wasn't keen on me working with his director. Wow. And he is a dick. The next morning, I arrived at Mike's exhausted and plainly unprepared, hoping it wouldn't matter. Madonna was in the midst of a very high-profile split from her husband, Sean Penn. When she's friends, I took a job. I joined the ensemble cast of Bloodhounds on Broadway, which Madonna and I sang a duet with Matt. That is your favorite Matt Dillon story right here. Matt Dillon played her love interest, Heaven, and everyone was paid just scale. Let me move up to here. Around that same time in January, I was nominated for Golden Globe for the Best Actress and one of 4 nominations against Holly Hunter, Diane Keaton, Bette Midler. There you go, David. And Cher. That same year. A reward ceremony arrived 2 weeks before the nominations were announced. Matthew and I came with me to LA, where they put us up in a hotel. I can't remember why my boyfriend declined to be my date the first time I was up for a major award. Perhaps he was still maintaining a low profile after the accident, because maybe he hadn't walked the red carpet since the accident. So my agent, while Matthew went to the Ivy for dinner with his agent, so she went with Tracey Jacobs. Looking back, I'm baffled that no one offered to help me navigate this new and very tricky terrain, and I didn't see how much help I needed, because I had an enormous ambivalence about going after what I wanted now at this point, because I didn't know at the time my ambition had a strangely distasteful and negative connotation to me. It smacked of self-involvement, entitlement, soullessness, being cutthroat and driven. I had never been a fan of competition, and that's what you're talking about, David, what you just said. You have to have all those things, unless your agent's so cutthroat that they're doing them for you.
Right. And there are some, like Jay Leno had Helen Kushnick, and so Jay could remain a good guy, and Helen would be the bulldog, just making sure everything worked in his favor.
That is a great agent to reference. Helen, if anyone watches, what's it called?
Late Shift.
Late Shift. Yeah. Yeah, and it's a great portrayal of what Leno's agent was like, and that's not atypical of. By the second week of July, I couldn't take it anymore. I said yes to Matthew, and I escaped the heat of the city to enjoy our new status privately in the bucolic, a great word. God, that's a David, right? Bucolic Connecticut summer, spending a few dreamy days in Mike Dickles and Diane Sawyer's house, as we can all relate to, riding Mike's horses and playing with their little puppies and swimming in swordfish and eating in the screened-in porch. LOLing or lolling at the haze in newly engaged bliss. Not only was the relief from the searing pain of being broken up enormous, but now being engaged had the addled boon of realizing my hopes and dreams. I wanted to believe that I had been so painful about a relationship could be wiped out by Matthew's declaration of undying love and the sparkly diamond perched. The next night, Matthew was going to hang out with the playwright Kenny Lonergan at the state. Matthew's bed hadn't been slept in. I called his mother, who said, "Why should I know where Matthew is?" and hung up on me. I called Kenny, who said he had not been out with Matthew that night before. While I had sat in Matthew's desk trying to think of who else I should call, I opened the drawer and was greeted by an 8x10 headshot of our friend Helen Hunt. Speaking of Mad About You, penned with some personal inside jokey inscription. And suddenly, I knew this matrix. Helen, Penny, the old family friend. Nobody's ever been slower to get it right. Nobody's ever been dumber. But it was just that invested in believing what I wanted to be true. Until that moment, my denial wore so thin that I had not seen through it. I closed Matthew's desk drawer, went home and took a volume. Now she's saying that he cheated on him with Helen Hunt.
That's
case
the text message of the 80s, just an 8x10 headshot with a loving message written on it.
Yes.
At noon, I closed Matthew. At noon, Matthew called and told me he'd been out to breakfast with his sister Janet. I said, "Oh, really? That must have been a pretty early breakfast," because I have to apologize to everyone. I have really bad vision and I'm getting the blurs right now, so I'm kind of fading in on. Because I was at your apartment at 7:30 this morning and you weren't even there, he said. "Let me come over and tell you what happened." I said, "Tell me on the phone. I don't want to see you." He said, "No, I want to explain this in person." I said, "No, let me guess. Helen Hunt?" He said, "Yeah, but it's not." Look, what a
It's not what you think.
It's not what you think. Mike Nichols had to write that for him. "It's not what you think." I said, "Okay, sure. Let's hear about it." We went on like this, back and forth. He said, "I swear to you on my father's grave, it wasn't even a kiss." I said, "You're a liar. You blew it. I never want to see you again." And that was it. The next order of business was to call Helen Hunt. She picked up. I said, "Hi, Helen. This is Jennifer Gray. He's all yours." Click. Ah, good for you, Jennifer. I like that.
Yeah.
It doesn't sound, she doesn't sound like a liar because the Howard thing is spot the F
John,
on.
are you there?
David? Sarah, you hear me?
I hear both of you.
Okay.
Oh,
David, you hear us?
Sorry, I couldn't hear John for a second. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, we're good.
Maybe I just clicked out. Okay.
You're good.
I'm sorry. Hold on a second. Let me just lost my place. I'm not navigating the PDF right. You gotta like hit the.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt.
That's okay.
Yeah.
You didn't do anything. It's 1 week after fleeing the scene of a crime, and I'm recovering from my mother's place. She's left town for the weekend. I hear the buzzer, press the intercom, and announce that I'll be right down. I take the elevator, head down pebbled concrete steps, and as I swing the heavy security gate there, the street light standing in front of me, nondescript old sedan, is the most beautiful man boy I'd ever seen. His cheekbone is now, she's been set up by Tracey Jacobs.
Right.
His cheekbones, nose, lips, eyebrows, dark eyes, every minute every minute detail set off an electrical storm in my brain. And then there's this smile. There's a lot of story incoming rush of dopamine. What exactly am I looking at here? A swoosh of brown hair over one eye. Some kind of art on those arms? Oh, I get it. It's a tattoo of a Cherokee chief in full feathered headdress. And on the other arm, a head heart with a banner that says, "Who the hell is Betty Sue?" I say to myself. He's wearing old motorcycle boots, Lauren Levi's t-shirt, and I tied around his waist. I mean, he's right into like, the coolest guy in the room phase here.
Yeah.
Just like, how much time do you think it took him to prepare for this to look like he didn't care?
Right.
A flannel shirt that looks like so soft I could be a transitional object for a baby, the perfect fade, the perfect plaid, the shirt you hope to God he forgets is at your house. This guy has adorned, mismatched tiny hoop earrings, a few silver chains around his neck, and a leather wrist cuff. Every inch of him says, "Oh, I just woke up like this." He's like an apparition, an angel. If a mirage could have been a person in the summer of 1988, that mirage would have been Johnny Depp. My agent, Tracy, had set me up on a blind date with this guy. He told her he had a massive crush on me after seeing Dirty Dancing. And she was desperate to sign him. Having just by the way, I should say before I go on, you know that he auditioned for Ferris Bueller.
Right. I remember
He
you
did
saying
not
that.
get it, and he was the second or third choice. And Charlie Sheen, his buddy from Platoon, is in Ferris Bueller in a cameo role in the police station, as most people know. Having had just my most serious relationship to date to go up in a flaming ball of shit, I was in no shape to go out with anyone. Sitting over lunch at the Ivy while I picked at my grilled vegetable salad, she implored me to just go out with this guy once and assured me that I would not be sorry. I did not know who this kid was, never heard of him. She told me he was on some TV show called 21 Jump Street and had this rabid preteen following. Nothing. That description even intrigued me somewhat about him. Tracy couldn't ask for the check fast enough and drove us straight to the thrifty drugstore, dragging me over to the rack where the mecca of Tiger Beat type fanzines that Sarah was reading at the time were on display. Every one of these magazines had him on the cover, designed to drive a 13-year-old wild. Aren't you 13 at the time, Sarah?
This was 87. I was 9.
Okay.
So no lies detected. Keep going.
With a little cutout face bobbing in a sea of other teen heartthrobs of this actor she was pimping onto me. I had no interest in dating a teen idol. Tracey said, I'm telling you, this kid is one of the kindest, sweetest human beings I've ever met in my life. She just wouldn't shut up about how great he was. She was like a pit bull. She'd locked on me. So I said, okay, go out with him. He asked if I liked soul food. And I said, a bumper sticker on the back beater he was driving read, happiness is being a grandparent. It's my stepfather. Okay, this is interesting because it's my stepfather. So his stepfather, Palmer, John Paul, is living with his mom, Betty Sue, in LA with them. And they moved to Vancouver after this. This is Bumpa's car, he explained. So he's driving his stepdad's car here.
Okay.
We headed over to Maurice's, you know this place? Maurice's Steak and Chat on Pico, east of Fairfax.
I know that neighborhood. I don't know that restaurant.
That could have closed 30 years ago.
I'm acting like this is yesterday.
Maurice is like 103 now. Yeah.
As soon as we get into the car, he grabbed his box of Marlboro Reds off the dash and said, hey, you want one? I said, yeah, I did. Marlboro Reds were, in fact, my brand. Maurice's didn't serve alcohol, so we first popped into the corner liquor store for a flask-sized bottle of Jack. Johnny was a regular at the restaurant, and Maurice, a.k.a. Mama, lit up when she saw us like we were kids for the holidays. We ate on the makeshift patio out in the back, drinking our Jack Daniels out of plastic cups. He ordered everything: meatloaf, candied yams, black-eyed peas, Mama's signature Southern fried chicken. We took our time over at the incredible home-cooked meal. We ate, talked, drank, laughed our asses off, took cigarette breaks mid-course. I found out who this Betty Sue was, in fact, his mom. He liked the booze that I liked. He liked the cigarettes that I liked. He liked the food that I liked. And he looked like every girl's wet dream. We packed his Marlboros rhythmically, pounding the pack against the heel of one hand, and cigs were half. This, I'm sorry, my eyes are bugging out here.
Did you call them Marlboros?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
That's a phonetic pronunciation. Most people don't just say Marlboro.
Might I say, I am so jaded by the world of the WATP podcasts that they cover, you know. Anytime anybody says, even back in 87, like, and we laughed our asses off. I hear Stuttering John saying that.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So
this boy was speaking the John we care about, the John. The boy was so ridiculously beautiful and surprisingly open, funny, quirky, and sweet. Note to Tracey, better send you flowers. After Maurice's, we headed over to Tower Records on Sunset and bought a bunch of music we'd been talking about. We sat in the parked car with the light sort of spilling in, taking turns playing our favorite songs for each other. We started making out to Bobby Darin's Beyond the Sea, which 21 Jump Street in season 4. Freddie Pena's Band of Gold and Al Green's Let's Stay Together, the Isley Brothers, For the Love of You. He drove me back to my mom's and parked out front. The darkness of the residential street lent itself to an even more intense makeout session. I invited him up, and he slept over with me on the daybed in my mom's office. Within 2 weeks, well, I wonder what happened in between that. What are we skipping, Jennifer? What do you think happened in that, Sarah? Is that the whole story?
I'm imagining laying on top of Depp in his large schlong on a daybed.
Yeah, not according to Kate Moss. Within 2 weeks, Johnny asked me to marry him. 2 weeks. Within the month, he had signed with Tracey. Within 1 month, he had signed with Tracey now. We went to Tiffany in Beverly Hills and picked out a small emerald diamond with 2 little emerald baguettes on either side of it. We played house, fixing up our one-room rustic love nest with French country pieces we found at an antique store downstairs from ICM. Is that true? Is that still there, David? ICM on Beverly Boulevard?
Yeah, that's still there. Yeah.
Okay. We hung these old floral. The one thing that never changes, right, are the agencies. That never goes away.
Oh yeah. They're all
By the way, the biggest crime in that, what you just read, was I bet you the emerald was pear cut. Oh.
I'm sorry to the chat because I'm reading this from a different page, so I'm not looking at if anybody's writing anything.
By the way, the Maurice's restaurant that they describe is closed. It was at 5549 West Pico Boulevard, and it was Southern and soul food.
Okay, it is kind of. it knows it's there. I mean, it's LA history. People know what places replaced other places. And,
Yeah.
in the fall, when his 21 Jump Street hiatus was over, he'd be shooting in Vancouver. And since we couldn't bear the idea of being apart, we decided that I would live up there with him. This is crazy, right?
Yeah.
This is what we got to ask Patrick Hasberg. This is definitely going to be when we get together and we plot a question session for him.
Yeah.
The stuff comes in and out of my head all day long. We briefly tried that out, but the loneliness, the interminable days sitting around his empty rental apartment, waiting for him to come home in a city where I knew no one, was just not working for me. We decided it would be better if we just come back to LA, if he'd just come back to LA whenever he wasn't shooting. Now, right? That had to make him crazy about getting off that show, right? I mean, don't you think that added fuel to the fire of him wanting off the show?
So he could be with Jennifer?
Yeah, well, and then the offers he was getting. Tracey Jacobs has got to be yelling at the producers to, going, my client will not participate in anything that's going to jeopardize him. He has a movie career. You get to get him off this stupid show. Just cancel it already. Get him off. Replace. That was going on all the time with producers.
Yeah, and I wonder, it's such a blur as to, is Johnny Depp really shrewd and kind of ambitious with his career, or is he just lucky, as he says in interviews? Because he comes off as aloof, but yet, and as charismatic as he is, like, either he or someone needs to be shrewd and kind of a bulldog on his behalf, but he has to be part of the participation process.
That's
too.
Tracey Jacobs. Now she goes to art school with Tim Burton.
Right.
And right around this time, she's got to be telling him, okay, I got you an audition for a Tim Burton movie, Edward Scissorhands, and I knew him from art school, and you don't deserve this audition. The people that they're considering are Tom Cruise and Tom Hanks and Michael Jackson. And, I go over that list all the time. Gary Oldman, Jim Carrey, Robert Downey Jr. Depp was somewhere in the middle of that. So he's like kind of the fourth choice, I want to say.
Now, had filming started on Scissorhands before Batman came out in theaters? Do you know?
They filmed Scissorhands in the 4th season of Jump Street.
Okay.
In and around the 4th season of 21 Jump Street. And Scissorhands comes out in the winter, December of 1990. Jump Street, and his last episode of Jump Street is June or May of 1990.
Okay. Just because I feel like Batman is the movie that put Tim Burton in. I mean, I know Pee-wee and Beetlejuice were moderately successful, but I feel like, was it more appealing to work with Tim Burton after Batman came out?
Yeah, that's right after 89 is when Batman came out.
Right.
So he gets the next movie after Batman, which is what everybody wants to work with this guy. That's crazy, cachet to come off that. And then to reinvent, Tim Burton's responsible for Batman, the resurgence of giving it some kind of a cool factor. Like the animated series was launched because of that. And Batman's whole thing, up until that point, you knew him from the Super Friends and the Adam West version. And so it gave him this kind of
dark,
which comic books
thing
had intended, right? I mean, it wasn't supposed to be the Adam West version. It was a version of him that's a true vigilante, and the dark. So it just completely changed the Batman persona for the lay people.
So Batman came out June 23rd, 1989.
Yeah.
Okay.
Scissorhands comes out a year and 5 months after that.
Okay.
At Christmas time, we went on to meet my fiance tour. Johnny took me and our furry love child to Florida to meet Betty Sue, his sisters, and his brother, Danny. On Christmas morning, Johnny gave me a diamond eternity band from Tiffany. Our next stop was Boston, where I introduced him to my father, who was doing a show there. Johnny bought all three of us matching Tag Heuer watches. Next stop, New York City, where he threw a small New Year's Eve gathering in my apartment, and Johnny and I, as host and hostess, instigated a dorky dance contest to see who could at one time out-dork the other. sending up the most embarrassing dance moves we could come up with. When it was your turn to show off your killer moves and grooves, you did so with dead seriousness. The competition was fierce. All my pals who met Johnny just gushed. Oh my God, he is the sweetest. You just deserve this, and you've got to be kidding me how beautiful he is. We started twinning. What does it mean? Or at least I did. He'd been
Dressing
giving
the
me
same.
Okay. I didn't know that was a term. That's a real
And I
thing,
apologize.
twinning?
I'll be right back. 2 seconds.
Sure.
Or at least I did. He'd given me his perfectly broken-in motorcycle jacket. He bought me a pair of black leather engineer boots. I wore his faded plaid flannel shirts. I went with him to stadium. Oh my God! So did you see this? There's a little clip of this on a special he did for MTV for Don Juan DeMarco. I went with him. This is in Chicago for Ida Greenbacks. I went with him to some stadium event for 21 Jump Street fans. He hated it so much as his growing heartthrob status had now accelerated. He felt exploited and trapped in this teen idol machine, dogged by paparazzi and crazed fans. He was desperate to get off this show. TV contract so he could be free to work now in movies. I could see all of what he could be, and much more better than he could, and more comfortably than I was ever able to see for myself. I had no doubt about Johnny's potential, his talent, the kind of career that he should be having. The way I believed in him, I never had that unwavering kind of vision for myself. Instead, I focused my energy on him, advising him, encouraging him to see the limitless opportunities and to swing for the fences. Meanwhile, there was still a significant amount of activity and noise around my career. There was pressure on Tracey Jacobs to come up with a gig for me and my new client. And I felt a lot of pressure to make the right choices because I'm coming off Dirty Dancing. I'm setting up meetings. Right. And the whole vibe was this career of mine was going to hit its stride. I remember Jeff Berg, the chairman of ICM, saying, we got to get you out of the Catskills. Johnny was now commuting every week back and forth from Vancouver, but had begun more and more to be regularly getting into trouble now. This is interesting. Fights in bars, skirmishes with cops. He'd started missing his flights home to LA, having overslept, or when he did come home, he'd be crazy jealous and paranoid about what I'd been up to while he was gone. I attributed his little temper and unhappiness to his feeling miserable and powerless to get out of his 21 Jump Street contract, when all he wanted was to now be in movies. That's so little to ask, right? He became moodier and moodier.
Yeah.
Moodier and moodier and less present. I kept wondering how or if I was going to get this easygoing, funny, devoted, adoring guy back to me. Tracey was now on a mission. She had to find him something else to do on his hiatus. So when Crybaby came in, it was the perfect next move for him. Everything about it seemed tailor-made. It was a musical spoof in the 50s, and Johnny was still on a Jump Street contract. So now he had a lead in a movie along with a pretty big paycheck. We decided to give up the log cabin and spent more time in my apartment in New York. But now Johnny's career had begun to pop, really pop. We started looking at houses to buy in the Hollywood Hills. As time went on, it seemed that more and more when Tracey called, I'd answer, but now she wasn't calling for me. I'd have to pass the phone over to Johnny. I still wasn't seeing the perfect next part for me, though, and I'm really broke. Really, really broke. One night early that spring in 1989, I was in LA leaving dinner with my mom, and those curved boots, Imperial Gardens, with all too familiar knowing what she did, you should just... Okay, I'm going to skip over to when... Let's see if I can find it quick. A few days late was my birthday. Johnny was flown in from Vancouver and put up at the Four Seasons in West Hollywood with the studio so he could take a meeting with the director who was interested in casting him. I flew in from New York to be with him for a few days for my birthday, and then I was going to stay in LA with my mom for a scheduled surgery. Johnny left our hotel room in the morning for his meeting, planning to be back next few hours. I waited and waited and waited. No phone calls, nothing. Where was Johnny? Johnny. Where was Jenny? That's me. At a certain point early that evening, I left a note on the bed saying I was done with him. The day before my 29th birthday, I cut cords with Tracey Jacobs. It all had gotten too toxic and too confusing. I left ICM. I signed with Madonna's agent, Jane Berliner at CAA, and I broke off my engagement with Johnny 9 months after we'd met. Isn't that crazy?
Wow, that's insane.
It's such a big catalyst about his life and how he meets Tracey Jacobs, and it's really, I think a lot of people don't know that.
Yeah, she's kind of the scorned part of his life and celebrity personified, you know.
Yep.
Um,
And I've never heard Tracey Jacobs speak about this in any way. And so it's just even this, I didn't feel, even during the hysteria from Fairfax and Depp's kind of popularity on another level, infamy or otherwise, people just didn't. She did talk shows for one in the book. She talked about some of this, but I think the entire thing with Tracey Jacobs is such a pivotal turning point in his career. She's the one who gets him the Tim Burton affiliation, and
yeah.
you know, they went to art school together. Tracey Jacobs and Tim Burton went to art school together.
Well, and her career too. I mean, I feel like she was not a leading lady after Dirty Dancing. I feel like I can't think of another movie that of note where she was like a lead, you know.
Yep.
I'm sure she was, but nothing on the level of what
if
he
you
did.
look at her IMDb, it does peter out. She's in some sitcoms and shows and stuff, but she
Yeah.
doesn't get a ton of stuff. She really is like sort of aged. I don't even know what she had a nose. Yeah, somebody said she had a nose job. She also claimed, right, that the nose job actually hurt her.
Oh,
because she was
interesting.
known for the schnozola.
Well, and it, I mean, would you say that she was considered a movie star, even if it's just based on Dirty Dancing, before Depp was considered a movie star? Even if he was,
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay, so yeah, it's interesting how they kind of met and like swapped lives or swapped trajectories, or they met at a nexus point where she was at her height, he was on the ascension, and they met and were engaged for that sort of point where they were just a lateral move away from each other, and then they went in opposite directions.
And isn't that what agents do, right? They latch on to the horse in front and jump, and the shiny new object that they can predict is. I mean, they're not that different in age, and I would have thought, she just wasn't managed properly.
Yeah,
it's not like she can't do various different things.
Right.
She just really, it's really crazy the way she kind of vanishes after this, and she'll be the first to admit it.
Yeah.
I shudder at the thought. Texaho writes, I shudder of Johnny watching Dirty Dancing only. I can't picture that either.
Dare you?
Can you picture Depp watching Dirty Dancing?
With me, yes. That's the greatest soundtrack ever made. It was so great. They had to make 2 parts, like a sequel to the soundtrack. I have both. It is so amazing.
Wow.
John O'Reilly goes, Jennifer went from Bucolic, Connecticut to Deppstein Island.
Book me a flight there.
Johnny Bye goes, who knew Helen Hunt is a full nude scene, but trim that land.
If Helen Hunt is cheating, or Matthew Broderick's cheating with Helen Hunt, 2 of the most asexual beings in the world,
totally.
just bumping mounds. I get nothing from that.
She's a lesbian. The rumor has been for years and years and years.
Yeah, she was wasn't she a beard for Spacey for a while?
Yes. My cousin was obsessed with that rumor. I couldn't talk to my cousin. He couldn't go 15 minutes without bringing up Kevin Spacey and Helen Hunt in that rumor. He loves that.
She was married to Hank Azaria for a period.
Yes, that was another one. That's right. And you know what Hank Azaria is in, right now?
Is in The Idol. Yeah.
Yes. Have you watched it?
Was.
Was right, Sarah.
I gotta really muster up my threshold for pain to watch it, but I will watch it.
We're gonna watch it eventually on Patreon.
Okay,
I haven't watched it either.
He's doing that lazy, shitty foreign accent he always does.
All-purpose foreign accent.
Yeah, it's just like it's completely pointless for the character. He's playing like an agent. It's completely unnecessary. It's like look at what a virtuoso I am. Look at the and I don't even know where he claims to hail from. It's such a hack fucking voice.
I imagine him with a pencil mustache trying to portray a Hispanic. Well, I guess he is.
Sarah, you don't know
Azaria,
if
is that Italian?
No, he's actually. I think he's Jewish.
Oh,
Azaria
right.
should be Italian, but I think he's Jewish.
What were you saying?
You don't know if it's Spanish, if it's Russian. It's this bouillabaisse of every foreign accent thrown into the same. It's terrible.
And when you see him interviewed, he is
he's so pompous.
And he thinks he's funnier than he is.
Yes.
Which drives me crazy. Yeah.
They go, pushing out the way 9-year-old read Melvin's obsessed with pushing out the way a 9-year-old girl reading a copy of Tiger Beat. Sarah.
Somebody, by the way, earlier in the chat, you skipped over it because they were asking me. Just kidding. Somebody asked me the name of Elizabeth Taylor's cowboy wearing hat husband. I can answer that if you'd like.
Go ahead.
Okay. So it could be either number 7 or 8. It could be either John Warner that you're referring to or Larry Fortensky. I think they both sported the cowboy hats at one point.
Probably 410. That's even I know
thinking
that
so
name.
too, because there's a photo shoot where he's wearing fringe and a
Right.
cowboy hat with her. It's very strange.
They met in Betty Ford, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that's right.
It's a lot of relationships stem from Betty Ford, right? Yeah, Ida Greenback says, I'm sure that you talk about Jennifer Grey's nose job ruined her career. She looked like everyone else. That's exactly right. That's exactly what she says in the book, that she blamed. It's an odd thing to.
Her
It's
mother
true though. I mean, you set
told her to get
yourself
one.
apart by with the schnozola.
It's like Stryisand.
Favor, yeah, like it's exactly like your buddy Stryisand. I think Stryisand's still thinking about your performance from Josh's wedding.
From what's his daughter's name? Eli. Her name is.
Oh,
Eli.
it's Eli. Okay.
Yeah.
I still can't believe you had absolutely no interaction with them during the. I can believe it because it's Stryisand, but.
Yeah, they're not thinking about us. We're the help. You know.
Hooper, you son of a bitch. That's the real David the violinist. And who's the school shooter?
That's me
in
at
David's
14.
Picture.
I was in a band, and I thought I looked like Johnny Depp in Dark Shadows, so that's why I posted the picture.
You should have seen me dressed up as the Crow in high school. It was very
Oh my
frightening.
God.
I learned that you probably shouldn't put duct tape on bare skin as part of your costume.
Yeah.
So yeah, my upper legs, my upper inner thighs had no skin on them for 6 months.
He thinks it's Columbine looking, I think, is what.
No, I get it. Yeah, it
Yeah,
looks.
it's such a horrible place to go with that. It's not what you think. I had no. It's right, John O'Reilly. Once again, it's not what you know. It's who you know. Right.
Yeah. Especially with acting.
Yep. No doubt about it. That's the best
Acting for
advice
film, right.
you can give any young person if you're in education. Forget about grades, and it is making the right connections. It is cultivating those connections and being someone that people want to spend 8 hours around, and you will be hired.
Right. And also understanding that the way Hollywood says no to you is by saying nothing at all. You know, so as long as someone's talking to you, I think, you know, you can keep things going. I mean, you gotta. I look at Jennifer Grey's career and look at like it's this and that here and there, and it's not like a leading lady thing, but she managed to keep it going, you know. And maybe she just would. I mean, and from her writing, it sounds like she's somewhat of a realist, where it's like, okay, I'm gonna this being a client of Tracey Jacobs is too toxic, and even if it means that I'll get big parts, I'd rather go somewhere else for the quality of my life. And you know, if someone's pointing a camera at me, then fine, you know.
Well, then what happens when you're her and you just see her far more interested in Depp than yourself, and you just start to go, wow, this is I introduced them,
right?
I was used as a prostitute. I mean, it's essentially not essentially, she straight up was used as a prostitute to lure him in for Tracey Jacobs to represent. That's crazy. I mean, that's got to be like, once the reality of that hits you, you just got to be like, oh, your skin crawls, right? You can't be around them anymore. That's really lascivious shit to do that. Jennifer sitcom. Yeah, she was on a sitcom. Do you guys remember that in the late 90s? That's he's talking about. And the nose job was a running
I blinked
gag.
and it was gone.
I'm so impressed with John
don't
O'Reilly.
know it. Yeah.
Watch that. I love like John O'Reilly, who is this, you know, obviously in law school and working his ass off to get that. He has time for a Jennifer Grey sitcom on ABC and remembers every line. He carved out the time for a Jennifer Grey sitcom. Don't waste your time, says Kathy Scott.
It's on Idol. She's talking about.
Only married for a year. So
To
that
Hank
marriage,
Azaria.
yeah. Thank you, PCBPO23.
I think they were married in the year that she was like Oscar nominated for Pay It Forward and stuff. You know, she was like at the apex of her acting career.
Yeah. She's her career is interesting too. It ebbs and flows, and you know, what was the hurricane Twister?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm mad about
That's
you.
right.
She was in. I love As Good as It Gets is my favorite Nicholson movie
Oh,
to
that's
this day.
right.
There's so many great quotable things in that. I
That is a great
really like
movie.
that movie.
Yeah.
She goes, there's that scene where Greg Kinnear plays the gay neighbor, which again,
Yes.
it's about having no medical coverage, and his boyfriend is Cuba Gooding Jr.
Yes, that's right.
Speaking of Depp, Skeet Ulrich is in that. He plays like a grifting. What does he do?
Oh God,
He's
gotta
a
see that movie
model,
again.
and Greg Kinnear wants to paint him or shoot him, and then he robs his place.
Yeah.
Skeet Ulrich.
I haven't seen that movie in probably 20 years, but yeah, I vaguely remember that.
He's the original doppelganger.
Yeah.
Speaking of Melvin, his name is Melvin Udall in the movie. Nicholson.
Okay.
And I know Nicholson's got this storied career, but for some reason, that's my favorite Nicholson movie.
Yeah,
Now
it's
it's not
a
even very
James L.
original.
Brooks script, and yeah, it's great. I mean, yeah.
I've seen it like several times, and that was like Helen Hunt was like, she played the waitress in that, and it was a real. It's the biggest thing she's ever done. I mean,
Yeah.
I know Twister made a lot of money, but that's easily. Was she nominated for Academy Award for that?
I think just for Pay It Forward.
Okay.
Oh, I was like, for Twister? Are you kidding?
Bill Paxton, rest in peace. I forgot he's the lead in that.
That's right.
But everyone's passed away now. It really is crazy. There's almost no name you can't bring up where you're just going, that was a weird death.
Oh, I'm sorry. She won. She won an Oscar for As Good as It Gets, and she was nominated in 2013 for The Sessions. I don't even know what that is.
I don't know what that is either.
I thought it was Pay It Forward, but yeah,
is that like
it's
a vignettes kind of movie?
American erotic comedy drama written by who's in it? It doesn't look very good. John Hawkes and Helen Hunt star as it looks like a no-name movie. I'm surprised it got Oscar attention. William H. Macy's in it.
So the other day I was fooling around, and when I look for stuff on Depp, a lot of Depp adjacent people come up, and Tim Burton's obviously one of them. And I've had these thoughts about his movies and I brought it up with you, Sarah, on how extraordinarily white his casts are. So a few years ago, he gets called out for this, and it sort of keeps coming at you. When the Addams Family thing on Netflix came out, Tim Burton explains why his films are just full of white people, as Wednesday is branded racist. Given the popular Netflix series Wednesday is called Racist, Tim Burton has defended the reasons why his movies really just seem to have a lot of white people in them. The 64-year-old director is best recognized for his work in the movies Corpse Bride, Beetlejuice, and Edward Scissorhands. Narrowly a black in any of these movies.
The palest movies ever made.
So it goes on that the first lead black actor he has is Samuel Jackson in 2016. And by that point, he'd been making films for 30 years.
Okay, yeah.
Let's say, give him like the mid 80s to that's 2016.
Like Pee-wee's Big Adventure in 85.
That's a lot of a lot of films. What Burton's most recent films follows an adolescent Wednesday Addams as she enrolls in school. It serves as executive producer and director of 8 episodes. Burton does since making streams Addams Family. But despite enormous popularity, Wednesday has drawn criticism for some viewers who think the program is just racist. Black performers are frequently absent from all of Tim Burton's films, which have drawn a lot of criticism in the past. A similar criticism was leveled towards his 2016 film, Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children, which is an X-Men ripoff. Charles Xavier's Institute for the Gifted. It's an X-Men ripoff.
Okay.
Oh no, what are we doing here? You see this thing gotten right?
Yeah.
Oh, that Rodney's right. Screwed up my bad vision as it is, right? Okay. In the Bustle interview, Burton responded to criticism by saying the movies either call for things or they don't. Burton stated to the media, I remember back when I was a child watching the Brady Bunch and they started get all politically correct, like, okay, let's have an Asian and a black. That's very ignorant of him. That's one episode in the entire series. They did a thing where
I remember that episode.
Mr. and Mrs. Brady babysat for a black kid, an Asian kid, and that's it. It was one episode. It wasn't the whole series. It wasn't, and I didn't even think of it as blackwashing. That's a horrible example of that. Horrible. That's an out of touch,
I remember
lazy
that,
example.
yeah.
I used to get more offended by that than just I grew up watching blaxploitation films, right? And as I said, I didn't go like, okay, there should be more white people in these movies. The movie's one lone black actor, Samuel Jackson, defended Burton by claiming that this isn't really any fault of his or any kind of method of storytelling. Samuel Jackson goes on to say, I had to go back in my head and think to myself, how many black characters have Tim Burton ever had in Tim Burton movies anyway? And I think I may have been the first. I don't know, or maybe the most prominent in that particular way, but it happens that way. I don't think the guy, it's any of his fault or in his mind or a method of storytelling. It's just the way it played out. Tim's actually really a great guy. And so Cheryl Z, they're trying to like give him shit on Twitter. Cheryl Z does a montage of his lead, and look at how pale. Not only is he just white, it is translucent white.
Right.
Tim Burton's lack of diversity comes from his insistence that all his characters be not just white, but pale, really, really deathly pale. And there's Depp as Ichabod Crane. There's Depp as Willy Wonka. There's Paul
Pee Wee
Rubens, and there's Sweeney Todd. It's. She goes, I love her taking the time to make this collage.
Look at Johnny Depp's Dark Shadows picture, and then look at me at age 14. Is that?
Oh, wow. That's great.
That's why I chose that picture.
Billy D. Williams is in Batman. That's just an example. I know Laura Marie was going to defend Tim Burton. I don't think he's racist, but I think he comes from a very white world, and everything around him is very Caucasian, and he just doesn't think in terms of he's not around racial diversity. He wasn't brought up that way. His interests aren't that, and it's just, that's the way you go. You write what you know, right? He does not know black people in any way.
I also think that he's obsessed with that like combination of late 19th century Gothic horror and like campy 60s
British
comedic horror, like the Munsters or the he's and that both of those aesthetics kind of call, like, everyone is a ghost. He's obsessed with ghosts. Is what it is.
Yes. So Samuel Jackson is one of only 2 black actors to ever be cast in a main role, despite the fact that he was portraying a villain, and Burton has 38 directorial credits to his name. Ken Page, who also played the evil, get this name, Oogie Boogie in Tim Burton's Nightmare Before Christmas, is the only other black actor to play a significant role in one of his movies. Oogie Boogie has been branded a racist character since his name is also a derogatory slur for African Americans. Fans have complained that although black actors play a significant role in the new series Wednesday, their characters are also portrayed as bullies. Brian said, loving Wednesday. It's another, why are black characters in Wednesday's antagonists, or did I miss something? Wednesday has been a big success in criticism surrounding the cast. There are also at least 3 other seasons of that. Let me scroll down here. Okay, we'll leave it at that.
Can I say something real quick? So just to tie it into the Stryisand wedding.
Yeah, I was going to ask you how many black people were at that wedding. I was going to ask you that.
That's a good question, and I think none. But what I was going to say,
progressive though. What?
Yes.
What I was going to say was, so it was me playing the cello, and it was my other friend playing the cello, and this other friend was the teacher to the girl who plays Wednesday on Wednesday. He taught her some basic cello lessons so she could play the cello on the show. So there's my connection. I can connect the Brolin wedding with the Wednesday Netflix show.
And your Cleveland, David, is one of the blackest cities in all of America. I looked that up last year. It is in the top 10.
I think that's correct.
Very high percentage. I believe you get a hoodie pass. I really believe that in my soul. Lauren Marie writes, Tim Burton brings characters to life from, this is exactly what Tim Burton said, brings life in his brain. They happen to be pale because his aesthetic is morbid. His color palette is black and white and red, and he does what he knows. It's his calling card. Yes, Lauren. I don't think he's racist, but I think it's exactly what you just said.
Well, think of it this way. His first film is the short version of Frankenweenie with Shelley Duvall.
Right.
Like the palest actress in the world.
Well, I got a reference for you that doesn't help his case much. One of his films is Planet of the Apes. And who's the antagonist in that? Is Michael Clark Duncan playing an ape.
Right,
and
right,
that's
yeah.
doesn't help. I mean, and then the lead is the worst wigger on the face of the planet, who is notorious for black bashing, right? Terrorizing black families in Southie, Marky Mark.
That's right.
But you notice in the article, Planet of the Apes does not come up. That's really tough ground to tread on when that's the closest he gets. G. Canada writes, "That's not funny, Hooper. A native girl cut me." Yep. Oh, he's always in some other. I always think it's like he's
Welcome
always
to the
G
chat.
Canada's in an episode, yeah.
White people have trouble admitting unconscious bias, says Johnny Bye Bye. They take it so personally, but it is a reality. It can be a reality, Johnny Bye Bye. It can. Getting offended on black exploitation movie for not having enough white people in it. Ben 4810. I live in the whitest suburbs, says G Canada, I've ever met in my life. Black people at 10. I had seen them before in these. See, that's why in the USA, I hadn't seen a black person in before I was the age 10 years old. See, I am from a very white town on Long Island, and I think Hooper will confirm that Sayville is one of the whitest towns in all of Long Island. So I had to like go out of my just being like a basketball fan and in search of blackness. I had to reach out, and then most of my life, then moving to Brooklyn. Since then, I've been in very multicultural, racial situations, and I have a lot of, and every job I've had has been luckily very multicultural and racial.
Right.
And I don't say I look for it, but I definitely I think I've earned my hoodie pass. I think I understand the struggle as well as any white guy can. I really believe that. I truly do.
I'm picturing like a poignant documentary like John in Search of Blackness.
I remember we would take the train in from Sayville to Manhattan, and we needed to feel the melting pot that it was, because my town was not. My friend Brendan, who is from that town, will cop to this. It is one of you. It is so, and dare I say, racist. The town itself, on its face, might be racist. I will take that plunge and say that. The boogeyman is the monster under the bed, says Lauren Marie. It has nothing to do with race. LOL. I gotta watch that again. She's probably right. Good call. It was the first time I saw Billy D. Williams since Return of the Jedi. Come on, David. I'm sure the servants weren't white, says
True.
G Canada.
Good point. Yes. That's very true.
How were the servants, David? Did you consider yourself did it feel like you were a servant?
At the Stryisand wedding?
Yeah, as a musician.
Oh, I thought you were making an I'm old joke. I'm sorry.
No. Not this time.
Yeah, I think I met some of the photographer. I mean, they're just normal dudes and gals like me. I mean, we're just all from Los Angeles, living in 1-bedroom apartments, coming up to Northern California for the day to be vendors at their wedding. So I met some of the photographers, and the planner is a friend of mine who, we're all kind of lower middle class people, just working this wedding.
Howard had on it was either Burton or Marky Mark, and Lauren Marie says Planet of the Apes is her least favorite. You're probably not alone in that, Lauren. Burton movie. And Howard asked, I think it was Marky Mark, actually. He's like, why didn't he cast Johnny Depp in this? He's like, why didn't he? It was like the first time in a long time he hadn't cast Depp.
Right.
It was in a row. It was like Ed Wood, Sleepy Hollow, Edward Scissorhands, and they'd only done 3, but it was still like, oh, he's the De Niro muse to Scorsese now for Burton. And I remember Howard asking Marky Mark about that. Am I repping Bed? I've been to Bed-Stuy. I played in a basketball tournament as I think I was a junior in high school, and my friend Robbie was like one of the best players in New York State, and I would tag along with him and his dad. His dad would crowbar him into these tournaments in the city. He knew all these great. That was when New York was the mecca of street basketball, and they had these great summer leagues, and it was the best of the best. And I would just tag along and sit on the bench, and it was in Bed-Stuy. And John Sally spoke to everybody about the ills of drugs, and he was on the Pistons at the time, and they just won the title. And Mike Tyson pulled up in a I don't know what it was, like a crazy Porsche. He double parked it and got out, did some indecipherable speech about, and what he went on to do. I couldn't understand a single word he said. Not one single word. Sally was great. Sally was really good. He's from that area too. John Sally's from, I think he might be from Canarsie, which is not it's a very white area. And it was scary. Bed-Stuy was legit scary. That's where BIG is from. And it was at the time, you're talking about the late 80s, early 90s. It was scary to be white and walking around that area. Felt as Chad Johnson was the closest thing to a black person we had in the city. I saw white. There's a Chad Johnson wide receiver who played for the Bengals, which is kind of strange. And he's as black as it gets. That's so funny. Chad's very white. Great Sable reference, Brendan. Phenomenal. Well, the Deppening going to be if Depp was black. What is the next Deppening? We're going to do an episode called Johnny and the Blacks. Johnny Bye Bye for Crazy Robin.
No,
and
we're not.
Yeah, because 21 Jump Street starts with half the cast is black. Platoon is, there's so many great, Tony Todd and Forrest Whitaker and Keith David. So we're going to do, I think Johnny and the Blacks is going to be down the pipe. Hopefully Sarah's in on that, right? So that was your idea, right, Sarah?
That's a negative, Johnny.
So, reading that article, Sarah, would you not confirm how many, I was talking about how when City of Lies came out, what was the comment I made to you? I said, Depp needed to do a black movie. It's not just Tim Burton. There was a period with Depp where you went from really Scissorhands, Crybaby. Actually, Crybaby has a few. We'll say Scissorhands all the way to the early 2000s. And I remember getting to about Finding Neverland. And I had said to a bunch of people, I am so tired of these period pieces and Brits, and the casts are too white. It's just white European over and over again. I need my blacks, and I need a black movie. And I remember saying it all the way back then. And I'd gotten tired of that. And I think that Burton had rubbed off. He'd gone on this Euro period piece. When you talk about Disney and Burton and Gore Verbinski and period piece Euro films, it is nothing but white people. Ironically, and I was so tired of it.
Ironically, Chocolat was the whitest movie ever made.
I know. It's in France. Lauren Marie goes, I met Tony Todd. He's so cool and nice. I met him, Chris Sarandon, speaking of Burton movies. Tony Todd is in 21 Jump Street, Lauren, in an episode we went over called You Ought to Be in Prison. And he plays the warden in a youth facility with 28-year-old youths in this facility. And he's in Platoon. And Depp got him cast in Jump Street. I'm sure of it. And we're going to ask Patrick Hasberg that question.
And he takes a wad to the face, but not how you'd think in prison.
Oh, that's right. He gets spit on. That is the grossest scene. It's like legitimate goober from Reggie Dorsey, who plays Waxer Thompson.
That's like when Stone Cold Steve Austin spit on Vince McMahon and it just hung off his eyebrow.
Oh, God.
John O'Reilly goes, Sable had a wall to keep the folks from Patchogue out. He's so funny. That's so true. It really felt like that. Sable makes Bayport look like Compton. It's so, I really, so it had me, the nonconformist in me or the maybe go the other way in search of blackness without being a wigger. I mean, I know how black people view wiggers, and it's patronizing to their culture that you're mocking it like that you think that the struggle, that you can just act like Michael Rappaport or Marky Mark. They hate that. Have you ever been on a basketball court when you see a black guy look at a wigger and the face they make at him? How dare you mock my culture? How dare you? Go ahead, David. I'm sorry.
Well, no, I mean, it's like looking at a kindergartner who's trying to bully you, I mean, just, you don't take it seriously.
Johnny, Depp needs to do a BET plus true crime, says Johnny Bye-Bye. Well, I mean, I know that City of Lies, which I highly recommend, was the movie that I had wished for all those years. The Tupac and Biggie story. It is one of the most underrated Depp movies. It's one of those things that came out. Where were you, bandwagon idiots, when that came out? Why am I the only one to have seen it? Sarah, you've seen it too. And it was when he was quote unquote canceled, and I love that movie. The director Brad Furman has a lot of good movies under his belt too. He did a movie called Infiltrator. Has anyone seen this? Bryan Cranston is in it, and it's like Donnie Brasco meets Blow. It's like taking the two movies and fusing them together. It's really good. If you have nothing to do, if you're looking for a movie to watch Infiltrator with Bryan Cranston.
Cool.
Came out
yeah.
like, I don't know, 8 years ago. Did Robbie go to college? Sports smarts, friends. Robbie went to Bridgeport, which is about as black a city, Connecticut, and then he went to Gary Delabate's at Delphi after that. He's a white guard under 5'10" who averaged 30 points a game as a senior. Is unheard of. Unheard of. Before the 3-point shot had gone crazy. And now for Sarah, who alerted me of this, I had known about it, but I'm going to give Sarah credit for it. Depp goes to, speaking of white people, Depp goes to England with the Hollywood, I mean, this is as white as it gets, this experience, to the home of writer Dylan Thomas, who is a birthplace of Dylan Thomas, who is a poet. He is a beat writer. He's
Child's Christmas in Wales. He wrote. Yeah.
Right.
Also had a very he had like chronic bronchitis, and his mother coddled him to the point of oblivion. So that need to be coddled lasted his entire short life, and he spent his later years seeking attention constantly.
Black and Connecticut are oxymoronic usually, Joe Long, except in the case of Bridgeport and parts of Hartford. It's Bridgeport is about as black as it gets in terms of one of the blackest cities in the country, I believe, and very, very a lot of good people come out of that. I think, Long Island. The ferry goes from Port Jefferson and it comes into Bridgeport. So to avoid traffic, you can take the ferry from where Casey Armstrong lives, and you can go to Connecticut on this ferry, and it comes into Bridgeport. So Dylan Thomas, right, Ida Greenbacks, alcoholic. He's almost known for drinking. And as you can imagine, Depp was introduced to him by David's favorite author, Danny Depp. And he was a kid. This guy, when I was living in the city, it was this kind of hip thing to go to these watering holes where he used to hang out and get drunk. And he would have like scriptures he would write on the walls and stuff. And he romanticized drinking. You know how Depp loves all these, drinking legends like Thompson and stuff. This is one of these guys. And
I apologize. I'm thinking tourism to this museum house is down, so they slipped Depp a few shekels to come in and promote it.
The way the access that Depp has here, you all can have this access just like he does. We all have the same, he's not getting preferential treatment here at all. Any civilians, you can do exactly what he's doing. You can go to his relatives, you can visit, and they'll give you the time of day like this. So it's game on. They love any and all comers. You don't have to be famous. And you don't have to be famous to play with Alice Cooper or Joe Perry either in a band. You can all be just great musicians and unknown. Like David could play with them. They would love him. They're about the music, not about fame.
Yeah,
right?
Of course. Yeah.
So this is Depp visiting Sarah. This is like his relative, right? This is Dylan Thomas's his.
I didn't catch who this guy was. Maybe he's a curator of some sort.
Let's
I don't
call
know.
him a
Could be
curator.
relative.
And so Depp is, of course, on the fringe. This is just so up his alley.
Has just come from playing hacky sack on the quad, and now he's gonna go visit Dylan
He
Thomas's.
took the stuffing out of the hacky sack and put it on his head.
Exactly.
He still has the walking boot on, and people are getting nervous about this, and that's been on for quite a while.
He has a hairline. It takes a while.
I'm still trying to figure out, with his lack of stage choreography and rigor mortis guitar style, how the hell he injured himself. I don't understand what movements he possibly could have made.
Sweetheart, we are at the age this happens. You can walk
When
down
I'm
some
on stage,
stairs
I'm doing handsprings
and stress fracture your foot. Get ready.
If I'm charging that money, I'm doing handsprings. I'm simulating like trident swipes with my guitar at everybody. I'm doing like slides into the microphone. I mean, he couldn't move any less on stage or even make eye contact. So I don't know how the hell he's injured himself. So this is the interview he does with, we'll call it Dylan Thomas's curator. And this, I don't know what this is for. I think it's this guy's YouTube channel.
It's so off the tracks. I swear to God, I think it's a paid gig for Depp.
And he's in full-blown Hunter S. walk-in stammering mode. He's struggling so much to get. Each word is so precious, and the pauses are crazy. And bear with me.
Welcome to being a Depp follower.
Well, this is what he is. And again, Kathy Scott, you got to ask Lori Allison, what is the speech cadence, what she met and what this is now? How did this happen? How did we get here? I think I know, but I'd love to hear her theory.
First of all, look at how cocky the curator is. Like, he's perfectly at ease with Johnny Depp. Like, oh yes, my friend Johnny here.
And taking up 2/3 of the sofa. Depp's sitting on the very edge.
It's like a cat in bed at 3 a.m.
Ben 4810 says the Hollywood Vampire set list from Friday night was pure cabaret.
Okay.
Well, usually you go through introductions, but we don't need any. I'm just going to say, Johnny Depp, what did you think? You've just been around Dylan Thomas's birthplace.
Yes.
How do you respond?
I'm still a little.
No boot tonight, says Kathy Scott.
Yeah. I'm still floating a little, having been in the room where Under Milkwood began, and so many poems were written. So yeah, dumbfounded. But very, very. It's such a strong.
I wish I could up the volume.
Well, as we during this visit, you get to see where his thoughts came from.
It's really an awkward chat.
Yeah.
Like, he doesn't know how he's trying to be as respectful as possible, but like it's just he has to articulate somehow the pilgrimage to this guy, and then why am I here, and what is the point of this? And
I agree with Sarah. I think it's a paid thing. He's almost like a QVC host that just was given a product. He doesn't know what it is, like, and he's trying to describe it on the fly.
And thank you for saying that, because now maybe Arm will listen to that.
What do you mean? Well, listen to what?
Because when I say it, you're like, you blow it off. When somebody else says it, oh yeah, good point.
What? I didn't blow off anything.
That means he likes you, Sarah.
No. The opposite.
Between the music and the writers, Depp really does come off as a nut swinger.
Hey, I'll help him. I'll swing. Yeah.
I love what Jason Priestley was talking about Depp once, and he goes, you know what? He's just, we would go out when I did Jump Street and I was dating Holly Robinson. He goes, he's just some swinging dick like all the rest of us. I swear to God, that's a direct quote.
And so it's a lot to take in,
Absolutely.
If you're a fiend like I am.
Yeah. So how long back does your association with interest in Dylan go?
5 minutes.
My
5 minutes.
When I was a kid, he turned me on to.
Talk about his brother Danny here.
When I was a kid, my brother, when I was a kid, he turned me on to all these really writers that I wasn't ready for. When I was.
I want you to look in the hallway behind Depp. I believe his security is there. I believe that's Sean Bett and Malcolm Connolly, and they're trying not to be seen.
By standing right in the door frame.
12, he turned me on to Jack Kerouac, and then Ginsberg, and the sort of beats, and then on to other things, and then Dylan Thomas was the first. It was that he gave me as a kid, Portrait of the Artist as a Young Dog.
Ah, right.
So that was the first. And then, of course, the poetry, the do not go gentle into that good night, all that, this stuff that just takes your head apart. But then Under Milkwood, the first time, Under Milkwood was the one that really grabbed me, and it was maybe a combination of the brilliance of Dylan Thomas's his capabilities with language and words.
This is like a room that doesn't have electricity.
It's like the 1900 house on PBS or something.
You're not getting the PlayStation 5 on a 80-inch TV in this room, right? There's no Wi-Fi. Look at this room. This could be, might as well be black and white.
The worst thing that they're doing right now, they have the windows open and the sun is shining on all of these antiques.
Yeah.
That's the
Oh, so
worst
true.
thing.
Yes.
As an antique curator myself, yeah, I'm
No,
cringing.
you're right. Yeah.
G Canada goes, hey, he's king of the pregnant pause. He must have taken lessons from Stern. It's like listening to a complete imbecile trying to act intelligent. What are you trying to say, asshole? Nobody knows. Hashtag Amber's IQ is higher than arms.
You're so jealous, G Canada. You're so jealous.
He takes these pauses because every word is a Fabergé egg, and he just, he's struggling for the perfect, and you're rooting for him. But there's no way someone that well read needs to pause that much all the time.
Right.
If you see clips of him younger in the late 80s and interviews, he's very, and you've heard him sped up on the Amber Heard tapes.
Yeah. I mean, which is recent, right? That's not even, that's like post, an entire Marlboro factory worth of cigarettes and
The other guy looks like the host of Temptation Island. I don't know that show, but that's funny. I'm gonna laugh anyway, even though I don't know what he looks like. I know you're right. Johnny Bye Bye says, what does Depp look better in, his yellow t-shirt or his mustard yellow suit in a parking garage?
T-shirt. I hate that suit.
Is he talking about the meeting with the
Yes.
legal team before
Yes.
anyone knew who they were? That's funny. It's a great. Johnny Bye Bye knows like as much as anybody, and he's
I think
he's a
like
hater.
a fan. I think
He might
he's
be a closet fan. He might be a closet fan. There it
He's
is.
ashamed by his level of lust for Depp, and he
Yeah.
lashes out with hate.
Yes. Sarah, as much as you
Classic
adore Johnny,
schoolyard crush.
how long do you think it would take for you to be annoyed by this slow speed? Hey, Jamie, that's a great question.
See, it is a good question. See, what I picture though, we're on that couch, and a much better couch than that, in his mansion, and he's just.
Where would Camilla be?
I haven't finished yet.
Where would Camilla be?
I haven't finished yet,
Okay.
and he is speaking that way into my ear. That's all you have to do. I'll deal with the cadence. I am going to be a puddle as he's vibrating
Oh
his
my
voice
God! What are you,
into my
Whitney
ear.
Cummings? Oh
No,
my
she's
God.
a different kind of puddle. That's nasty.
Now the real question is, where would your crazy cartoon cat be?
With you, I have dumped her for Depp.
Do you think Camilla would like Depp?
No, of course not. It would probably take a good 6 months, but I'm looking at her now sleeping in the laundry basket, and I'm ready to ship her out now. So I don't even think it would take Depp to get her out of my life.
I also think that he is, in private, he is probably a little bit quicker with the
Yes.
delivery. I think this is kind of put on to an extent.
Did you watch? I know Sarah saw it. Did you watch the George Young documentary? Blow, who passed away? George Young passed away a little while ago.
I didn't. No, I didn't watch the documentary.
So he got out of prison, and they did a documentary. It's really good. I have all 6 parts. I think it was a Johnny Bye Bye link or Boff, but it's.
Nope. Your mic disconnected, John.
Have it now.
You're back.
Oh,
you're
yeah,
good.
you're back.
Okay.
You're good.
And so on this, and I recommend everybody watch this. Depp is very lucid and sped up in this,
Mhm.
and it's a recent thing he did, and it's not. I'm telling you, that's what he really. That's the real him
Yeah.
in this. If you watch, and I know Sarah's probably seen this too. I'll give you another example where he's not this. The Charlie Sheen Platoon documentary. It seems like in documentaries he's very comfortable.
Yeah.
He talk about his time in Platoon and all the people in it. He is lucid, faster, jovial. It's not this. It's a different guy. I'm telling you, those two things.
I'll check that out. And those are somewhat recent too.
Yeah.
Okay.
They're both within the last 8 years.
Yeah, I would say you're getting closer to 8 years on the Platoon documentary.
Yeah, but I mean, even 8 years ago is 2015. What is it? 15?
I was watching a compilation of him being, quote, difficult on Letterman, and not, I mean, just playfully so. Like he doesn't know what clip they're going to show, and
right,
and that's between what 2007 and 2013 those appearances. So like
he did a lot of Letterman at a certain point. He was like a huge fan when he went to the Peter DeLuise interview with Brian Gumble we play sometimes on here with Jump Street. He went to Letterman there to see Letterman.
Oh, okay.
He wasn't on the show. He wasn't on the show. He
he
just
went
was
as a-
hanging out and backstage.
Right. Yeah. And he's. It's not even a speed thing. I think it's just like a monotone kind of thing that he does on those interviews as well. But it did seem a little faster. But I don't know. Yeah.
Patrick Hasberg says to me, in quote, and I'm sure he'll say this or articulate it. He goes,
Braggart.
Well, yes, I'm bragging. Because I don't want to take credit for his quote. I have to.
No, I'm
somebody.
teasing you.
He goes, you know what I mean? He goes, that level of fame, nobody can deal with it. It's never going to turn out good. Nobody needs that kind of fame. It can't be good. It's not what anybody's built for or meant for. He goes, it's also got to be exhausting for him in every situation when you're always trying to be the coolest guy in the room. That's your first priority all the time. So every situation, how do I be the coolest guy in the room? And this is a product of it.
Yeah.
I'm always in your mind. Your first priority is, how do I come off as the coolest guy in the room?
This is the character Johnny Depp we're seeing right now. Yeah.
I think the real guy is more so in Blow, the documentary as I was telling you about.
We're seeing the intellectual property Johnny Depp right now.
John O'Reilly, thank you, sir, because I couldn't think of that reference. The White Horse Tavern in the Village. That's where I went, and I couldn't think of the name of it. That's the Dylan Thomas hangout where everybody wants every kind of just wannabe poser and booze hound goes to drink to the same place that Dylan Thomas went to. That's a thank you very much. But Hollywood, back to Depp.
Description. The combination of that and Richard Burton's.
That Burton.
Incredible. That voice, the presence of his voice, and how he. Yeah.
See, I want this guy, this Brit, to just stop him in the middle and go, Johnny, what's up? What's up with the accent? What do we?
You missed a good point.
About who?
Find out what Depp sleeps to at night.
Oh, I know. It's coming up. I know it's coming.
Richard Burton. Yeah. Richard Burton would become the entire play, as it were.
Yeah, they were kindred spirits, weren't they?
Without question, yeah. He's the one that gets the humor the best, I think.
Yeah,
he gets the really dry sort of. But he was a lot like that.
Yeah.
Was he from Swansea?
He was from Potolwood, a few miles down the coast, that's all.
Swansea?
Same place as Anthony Hopkins as well.
Oh, that's right.
And Michael Sheen. 3 from the same area, which is quite unusual. But
that's kind of like Roosevelt, right? Eddie Murphy, Flavor Flav, Julius Erving, and Howard Stern. That's the Roosevelt, the Swansea, which I guess is like a small city in England. And I mean, this is like the whitest thing. This is why Tim Burton moved to England, if he wants to.
And married Helena Bonham Carter.
Yeah, another article I read is, it's not in there for some reason, is him dating his leading ladies. It's every girlfriend he's ever had is a leading lady.
Like who else?
Lisa Marie, Helena Bonham Carter, Monica Bellucci. There's like 6 of them, and they're all
interesting.
ingenues from his movie. And Lauren Marie's the next one. Vincent D'Onofrio is a similar way of speaking. Very great. Vincent D'Onofrio is one of the greatest character actors in all of show business. He is so good, that guy. I put him in the top 5 to 10 thespians currently working, certainly in history. He is so good. He is so good as Wilson Fisk, the Kingpin in Daredevil. I cannot believe it is as good a comic book portrayal as there ever has been or will be. He is going to be to Kingpin what I guess Downey is to Iron Man. No one's ever going to play it again.
It's been a real joy
to
have you here.
It's been a great honor. Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
And
pleasure.
Cross your legs.
You
Jesus.
Really appreciate that.
It's so casual and Johnny's
Have you ever sat like that, David?
Well, of course, I'm a big homo, but but like that, it's so casual. Like you know, again, just trying to make it seem like, oh yeah, Johnny Depp and I go way back. You know, I don't know. I'm reading. I don't.
No. He loves.
I'm sure he's a lovely man.
All things. You just got to induce. Now he did a movie called The Source. Anybody see this besides me? This is where like I throw this into this new breed of Pirates of the Caribbean, Deptford wives with no idea. I saw this thing, and this is the astronaut's wife has nothing on this. I saw this in the West Village with Dylan Thomas's home 4 times in a movie house. Probably had $200 to my name. Shouldn't have been going to the movies like this. And this is like an expensive movie house. So he plays Jack Kerouac, and he reads Kerouac's poetry in the movie. John Turturro reads Allen Ginsberg and Jesus Christ, who's the oh God, who's the third guy?
I'm looking it up.
Oh God. Oh damn.
Johnny Depp,
John Turturro, and iconic older actor. Damn it.
I'll look it up. You keep talking. Okay. I'll find it.
Ida Greenbacks, thank you so much.
Yes, I've fallen in love with Ida.
You better.
It just takes money. I've fallen in love.
Dylan Thomas's very famous line says, "Do not go gently into that good night."
Mm-hmm.
Do not go gently into that good night. I wonder what the.
Oh, Dennis Hopper
plays who?
William S. Burroughs.
William Burroughs, right. Is William Burroughs and Allen Ginsberg both gay? Are William Burroughs?
I don't know enough.
I know Ginsberg is.
Yeah. Hang on, let me look him up.
You don't have to. I just thought I heard.
Super easy. Whatever.
They got the 21 Jump Street soundtrack on the wax cylinder playing from that phonograph in the hallway. That would be great if this guy brought up Jump Street. It just didn't want to talk about anything but 21 Jump Street. How great would that be if he was forced to go along with it? You need a guy like this to invoke Jump Street. Lauren Marie, Vincent D'Onofrio is actually intelligent. Wow, he got G Canada's compliments. That's rare. D'Onofrio, you got to be smitten with this compliment. He sounds so smart when he talks. Johnny sounds like a simple G Canada's such a dick. This is not some unique thing. Hasn't everyone met these unique, humble, charm guys before? Women really don't do it.
Oh, Johnny. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like he's decided one day I'm going to talk slow and pause a lot and make people hang. You do. You hang on his every word.
I know it works.
During you can't. If you're a civilian, you can't get away with that. You got to be him to get away with that. Are you hanging on every word of the people of the men you work with, Sarah? If they spoke like this,
no,
that you hate so much.
That's not a lie.
It's not a lie. You would never get away with this.
I think the most impressive thing about Johnny Depp's command of his interpersonal relationships is the difficult celebrities, the Faye Dunaways, the Jerry Lewises.
I do too. I think it's a fascinating. It really is. We got to do a show on that.
It's more impressive than his command of romantic relationships. It's more impressive than his command of being charismatic for fans, being put up against any pushback. I think that's the proof is in the pudding with those kind of dealings, not anything else. Everything else, yeah, you see other guys do that. You see them
Mickey
do that.
Rourke, Brando, Faye Dunaway. These people are notoriously difficult, and directors too. There's some real pricks he's friends with, and it's only his charisma could allure them in because you hear nothing but bad things unless it's from him about most of these people, and what a nightmare they are to work with.
Also, the humble charm thing. I mean, women don't do it. Amber did it.
Yeah. Joe Long says public speaking is difficult. You can't really measure intelligence, but yeah, it is. But he's been doing it. I mean, his mistake for that matter, too many variables in every single. But again, Joe Long, it's like you're saying when he's doing Pirates of the Caribbean in front of a huge Disney set of hundreds of people, and he's comfortably playing Jack Sparrow at that cadence. You have to get comfortable at some point in your own skin.
Well, and also, if you know you're going to be on camera as yourself, you work up a version of yourself, that is maybe heightened, but is a little slicker, because you're going to be on camera.
Well, it's funny you say slick. I was just thinking when you said that, he did a movie called Once Upon a Time in Mexico,
Mhm.
which is a third movie in the El Mariachi trilogy from Robert Rodriguez.
Right.
And he steals this movie from Antonio Banderas, who's supposed to be like the linchpin. He is the the thing it was built on, and he comes in. It's like Banderas doesn't exist in this
Right.
movie, and Depp plays this slick, weird, strange CIA agent, and he bases it on his sleazy agent that he knew, and I believe is his agent before Tracey Jacobs, and only Lori Allison would know this.
Yeah.
And he does that thing you're talking about, that smarmy, sarcastic thing. And I recommend watching that for the exact personality you're talking about.
Yeah.
He plays Agent Sands in this movie.
Okay.
It's really, just watch his scenes. Don't watch anything else. Just watch his scenes. Fast forward through everything else. Just watch him, and that's all you need to watch in the movie. He steals that movie like Winona Ryder at Barney's in 2001. Been a camera. Almost done here.
And now we've been where he's born.
I highly recommend to anybody who has like a dilemma.
Here's the sale.
falling asleep, turn the lights out. Put on Richard Burton reading Under Milkwood and fall asleep to that.
But that's in a
Just
good way.
Focus on that. Oh, it's the best. No, it's the best sleep I've ever had from. By listening, I mean, I would do this. I'd do this for.
He doesn't fall asleep to Sam Mitchell and Brian Geltzeiler on NBA radio like I do.
God.
Fantasy Sports Channel. That's the best thing to sleep to. Sports radio is the greatest thing to sleep to.
No.
The rhetoric, and it's just a safe escape. I just feel it doesn't give me the horrible dreams I have every night after night after night.
Oh, John.
He's a mess.
All the time, but years now.
Yeah.
I listen to it.
Wow. You still do it?
Still, yeah. Oh, yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah. we used to
Say
think that
something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Strange.
now you've been where the man was born.
Yeah. And walked his steps a little bit.
It takes a while to
Thank
take
you.
it in, doesn't it?
It really does.
Yeah.
I think this is going to stick with me for a while. Till the next time I come back, I imagine.
Well, you'll be welcome.
Thank you.
Good to see you.
Everyone stop by. Coupon code Depp.
That would be great if you did a plug of it.
Coupon code hacky sack. God, Depp was trying to end that as soon as possible.
Well, yeah, he's like, I'll give you 3 minutes.
Yeah.
Or $1,000.
And then I'm gonna do like a friendly handshake, which is your cue to wrap it up.
Those two had chemistry like Kobe Bryant and Dwight Howard on the Lakers. It's just they couldn't have. You are not getting an audience with that guy if you're not him.
Thank you, Josh Foster.
Can we do a look back at Dennis Miller's run on Monday night? Yes, Josh. Just for you, we will do a run on. And to tie it into Depp, we'll only do Dolphin games. Yes, we can. I actually have those on disc, Josh. I have Dennis Miller's Monday Night Football. I've like probably 12 of them on a hard drive.
I'll do that just to critique the outdated references, even if I don't know the
yes.
You're going to have to do that on Patreon. I'm not just saying just because it's Patreon, but you can't do that here. I wish you could. You know how fast we'd get a strike?
That Jerome Bettis found that hole like MacGyver, for Christ's sake. Like a MacGyver jeweler's loop, for crying out loud, Albino.
You know, I realized about Dennis Miller, you know how they always say quality over quantity? He is the opposite of that. I think it's just people get punch drunk by how many references they have to think about that they just start to think it's funny, you know?
Yeah,
it's like
it's like
a noxious gas at the dentist's office. He's
trying to give you an inferiority complex that he knows something you don't know. So let me use a $20 word or a reference from an old Russian literature that you're not going to know.
Yeah.
I don't care if you laugh at it. I get off on the fact that you didn't know that. And if you didn't laugh at it, you're just too stupid. And I get off. I win no matter what.
And he makes you feel he's going to get mostly pity laughs because people are like, oh, he phrased it like it's supposed to be funny. And I don't want to look like I'm stupid, so I better I better laugh. Right.
You know the exact cadence that you're supposed to laugh. It's like a sitcom. You know the pattern. You don't know anything you just said, but you know that cadence came in and you're supposed to laugh.
Right.
Hey, it means go out screaming, don't go out. Okay, thank you, Ida. The quote means go out screaming. Do go gently into
No,
death.
she fixes it. Do not go gently into death.
Yeah. Go out with a bang.
That's the notion of death, I think, is something that we all contemplate. I do agree with that.
I think about it almost constantly.
Do you?
Yes. I get to the point sometimes where I'm like, do I need counseling? Because my fear is dying alone. Everybody around me is dead.
Yeah.
And do I just go to sleep and, the landlord finds me, a month from today or whenever?
That is the saddest thing in the world, dying alone. It really
what happens
is.
if I won't have this cat, but, I have a cat. What happens to the cat?
Right.
It's like, oh my God, stop.
You're worried about your cartoon cat, even in this situation. That
Well,
cat, I'm telling
I'll
you,
probably have another cat at that stage, but
she's every avatar you have. She's every that you don't do it justice the amount you obsess over that cat, that cartoon charismatic cat you have. And speaking of which,
I love hearing the violin line creep in.
it's just about to kick in and then it stops. Yes, you're right, G. Canada. I've said it before. You did say this. Vincent D'Onofrio is one of our very best. A generational talent. Johnny can't carry his jockstrap. He was in Ed Wood with him, G. Canada. Did you know that? He played Orson Welles in a very good scene. One of the best cameos, unless Vince put over Johnny's face and made him walk around. Sarah, Jump Street, what's coming up very soon, big disease with a little name.
I know.
There's dialogue about what you just said with Harley and Hanson at the lunch table. He goes, and you played it in your James Dean thing. Hanson goes, he's like, oh yeah, you're a real tough guy. Huh? This cowboy wants to die alone. He goes, look, Hanson, from what I get, everybody dies alone. There's no chaperones, Hanson. It's just you and your stuff. Harley's right. You do die alone, right? We all die alone.
We all die alone.
Isn't that amazing, Sarah? The tie-in to that dialogue that you just made.
Yeah.
And
Speaking
then you do
of
the James
James
thing.
Dean, because somebody asked me in email what was going on with James Dean. I took a big chunk out of it yesterday, so I am 2/3 of the way done. So, and I'm adding visuals to the Depp audio. He did a voiceover on a James Dean documentary, so I have to add the visuals.
And I can't wait for you and David's next Golden Girls.
And adding the visuals sucks. It's harder than it seems, but I should be done within the next month.
Johnny Bye-Bye, such a ball buster. Yeah, we remember this started the fucking NFT period. It seems like 15 years ago. All the stuff that's gone on.
Yeah.
Depp's selling those NFTs. That was such a weird phase. I was telling Kathy Scott about that. It's like he's just like erased it from his.
Well, he made his money. Now he's done.
I wonder what he made off that. What the hell?
He made wasn't it 10 million in like 3 hours?
Yeah. It's why does a millionaire need to ask you for money for?
Well, it paid for his legal bills. So
I guess that's exactly what it costs, right? 8.5 million or something like that.
Who cares? People bought them.
I'd rather.
Is that when he went on to Discord and did those riddles?
Yes. He was hawking his NFTs.
Yeah, Josh listen to those again. Falling asleep to WFAN is oddly the Steve Summers put you right to sleep. My brother-in-law almost ran off the road listening to Steve Summers. Could have put him to sleep. He was coming back from Plattsburgh, I think, and he had Steve Summers on, and he said he almost ran off the road because it was so soporific. It put him into this state. He did the sparks on the railing when you drift into the thing, and then that woke him up, and that's thanks to Steve Summers. One must fall. So that's gonna probably be it here.
No, we have a video where he visited somebody.
Oh, right. Thanks. This is what Sarah reminded me of. I had seen this but did not get it. Thank you, John O'Reilly, by the way. Thank you, Sarah. It's great to have you back too. You're such a commodity that I think we had it during and in general all the time. You make me proud to be in this community. Truly do. And all the references. We made a great John O'Reilly. He knows every restaurant from Fairfax to Port Washington. is where John O'Reilly drives. He can't wait to have his own coffee break. So this is the video of what makes Johnny Depp. And if ever you have something negative to say about him, he gets a pass because of moments like this. And it is, what did I title this? Johnny Depp meets superfan from Dayton, Illinois. I'm sorry, Dayton, Ohio. David's
I was like, what are you
hometown, Illinois. It's late.
Night. You might remember Carol Balger now. We featured her just a few months ago. She was raising money by selling artwork to meet her favorite person, Johnny Depp. Well, she did, and she sat down with Milena Brown earlier to share her experience. Milena.
Elise, this was truly a dream come true for Carol. She has told me she has loved Johnny Depp since 1987. Back in March, she was selling artwork of the famous actor to raise money to take a trip to meet.
Okay, this is a real fan.
Yeah.
You hear that?
Yeah.
1987, 21 Jump Street's origins. This is a real fan. She deserves FaceTime with him.
And this is, I might well up, so I'll be on mute.
Oh, no, I want to hear it. Leave it on. You like hearing the cries of him. We're going to play it on Kimmel on, I'm going to play this, Sarah. You crying. The death of John Ritter.
Him in Austria.
Yeah, right.
Well, she just got back and it was incredible.
What did he call you? He called you a what?
An angel.
Carol and her caretaker Zante just had the trip of a lifetime.
Here I go.
They took an 11-hour flight to Austria, a place neither of them had been before. And because Carol lives with developmental disabilities, having extra help was huge.
We were super nervous because it was a new experience for both of us, but everyone was super accommodating. They made special.
I am a big fan of Zante Richardson. I've always been. So it doubly works for me. And how great is it to go from David's hometown to Austria? It's always, everything comes out of Ohio.
Right.
Accommodations for her being in a wheelchair.
Once there, it was off to meet Johnny at his concert, where she had a life-changing experience.
He gave me a hug and he kissed me on both cheeks and my hands.
Her caretaker Zante bought her the tickets to see Depp in concert as a surprise back in March. Carol and Zante have known each other for 13 years, and they have an incredible bond.
I love letting her with my BFF.
She's your BFF?
Yeah.
And for Zante, seeing Carol's dream come true was truly rewarding.
I was overjoyed. I look like a proud parent. I look like a proud parent in the background of the pictures because she has had this dream as long as I've known her.
Forever.
For forever.
Carol's dream became a reality in part by inspiring people with her artwork on TikTok. She was able to raise $1,000 towards her trip.
Which one's your favorite?
That one.
This one right here?
Yeah.
And Carol wants to relive her dream in the future.
I'm hoping to meet him again.
And she even had another big surprise when she got home. A fan meeting her at the...
I love the picture they choose for the poster. That's him at the Cannes Film Festival in, I believe, I want to say 1999.
Okay. Like the one in the corner there?
Yeah, the one in the corner.
Okay.
Short hair. It's early 2000. It's after he cuts his hair for Finding Neverland.
Well, not to ruin your dreams. That's just a Canva overlay. Trust
No, that's
me,
a
I've
real
used
picture.
it.
That's a real. I know that.
It's a drawing of.
I know, but it's based on a real picture.
Airport. Now, Carol is continuing to make her artwork and post on her TikTok. You can check out and buy her drawings at carolk.biz or on her TikTok page, Adventures of Carol. Back to you.
We do have a sweet update tonight.
Milena Brown, you've done it again.
That's very sweet.
See, it really is. Like and subscribe, everyone. That's the sort where you give him any negativity or you fallen out of love. when stuff like that happens, let's see Leonardo DiCaprio do something like that. He can't.
Who
He won't.
cares? Who cares if he pauses between words?
Right.
I don't care. I don't care if he plays in a band. Those kind of videos, yeah.
When stuff like that comes up, that is truly what you should be judged on at all times. The effort it takes to fly her out there and the amount of shitty celebrities we have that blow off their fans, like Leonardo DiCaprio, over
Right.
and over and over again. You are going to heaven if you engage in something. I mean, he did endless examples of something just like that. The Make-A-Wish Foundation. So it doesn't get any better than that.
I love David C in the chat says she didn't give a damn about Joe Perry and Alice Cooper.
I was thinking that too. That's all I can think of. She's
me
like, I'm
too.
here to see. I'm here to see Bruce Whitkin. What happened to him? I thought Bruce Whitkin was in the band. That's why I'm here. That's so funny. If she doesn't even look at them, but that's been the tour, right? I mean, like the percentage of fans that are there to see him, and despite you're with Hall of Fame dinosaur rockers like Joe Perry and Alice Cooper, that they act like they're all on equal billing and footing, and they're not.
Yeah.
They're just not.
I'm going to go on her website and buy.
Yeah, everybody should.
No, I'll go check that out.
Captain Corey. Oh no. Captain Corey passed away, Sarah. Three-eyed catfish reminds me.
That kid.
That's today? That's the kid with the they were going back and forth. That is so sad. I never really thought that day would come. I thought he seemed so with it and
I just saw a video this morning.
Yeah, I did too.
Okay. So I rest in peace. You didn't deserve that struggle.
Oh, that's such a horrible note. Rest in peace, Captain Corey. That is a terrible, gruesome story to end this
I
on.
can totally see Depp covering the funeral.
How nice, says Laura Marie. Good dude, says Joshua. You think Johnny paused between smacks to Amber's face? What an asshole. Let Johnny bye-bye. He doesn't stop. The diet's working out well. Lily Rose is the flattest stomach I've ever seen. Steve Summers is such an anxiety-inducing voice. Yes, he does. He's selling more art next week.
All right.
So, Steve Summers used to do local radio and was a sports guy. He was bad. Is that in San Francisco, Joe Long? He's from the SF, isn't he? I believe. Lauren Marie goes, I relate. I worry about everything. I'm turning into my dad. We really are. It's not a cliche. We really are turning into my parents. Although there's a lot of differences between my parents and I. There are a couple of similarities, especially my dad. I'm nothing like my mother, but I'm a little bit like my dad. I just asked Isaac Baruch. Johnny is going to heaven.
He's going out the door and around the world.
Out the door and around the world. Oh, they call me Eugene. I'm Isaac Baruch. Oh, I could not stop doing that during the trial. Oh my God. Somebody wanted me to, I guess I'll do it next time. I forget. I was at a request and I lost it in the chat. Anyway, David, I want to thank you for hanging with us.
Yeah, thanks so much.
Duration. Sarah, brilliant work as usual. I cannot wait for your Seinfeld video and David's
I'll
music
work up the
to
music.
accompany it. Everyone, Sarah, do some plugs for the Patreon, will you?
Oh God, what are we covering now
Getting
over
sick
there?
of myself.
The best of '90s television, I think. But Seinfeld, Golden Girls, watch-alongs, by the way, 90210, and of course 21 Jump Street, which we need to get back into. But it is patreon.com/Wino forever. It is only $2. There's no higher tier, no lower tier. $2. Well worth it, in my opinion. I'm not just saying that.
Yeah.
What else do we got? Oh, if you can, super chat, super sticker. If you hit us or reach us after this video is already posted, there's an option under the screen to super thanks. All money in the ARM fund, after we net, goes to Mr. ARM, who deserves to be paid.
If anyone wants to join us as a third or fourth mic in general, feel free.
That's
The
always
Deppening at gmail.com for any one of those things I just mentioned. I don't mind several voices in it. Jump Street's such a precious, it's the least seasons out of all the shows we're doing. So it's spaced that out because I don't want to run out. I don't want to run out. It's got 5 seasons. One of the seasons doesn't really count. and then there's a season of Booker. But it's out of all those shows we're doing, it has by far the least amount of seasons and deserves the most.
Sarah, are you free Thursday evening?
Yes.
Okay, I could do Golden Girls probably at 6.
Okay.
If you're free, then I'll
Sounds
email you
good.
about it. Okay.
Sounds great.
Cool.
So anything else we want to next show here? I'm not sure what the topic's going to be. I might want to tap into the unsealed documents of the things people won't talk about. There's a lot of good stuff in there. I saw something that goes back to Amber Heard's lifeguarding days, which, gentlemen, speaking of Jennifer Grey and Matthew Broderick, who died behind the wheel of a fellow lifeguard friend of hers from Texas.
Oh, right.
And it's a whole exchange, which is just gruesome and eerie. And so that's, and there's a great exchange between, God damn, it's TMZ and his publicist, and they're going back and forth. It's the National Enquirer is threatening his publicist about releasing gossip that Amber Heard's funneling to them.
Oh wow!
And it's something that's not been shown in any of the that was just me randomly clicking on one of the unsealed documents. Like, any given, there's like 6,000 pages, so that's just me like randomly clicking on something, and that's the stuff that's in there. A lot of it he might not want you to know, but that's not what we do here. We're about transparency. Somewhere beyond the sea, somewhere waiting for me, my lover stands on golden sands and watches the ship as they go sailing. I gotta play that out. I almost butchered our own outro.
You sang that song for no reason.
For no reason.
Moo! 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 I'm a loser! Eh?
Sit down. Stay where you are. For the first time, I choose to walk out on you.
Jump.